All right.
Yep. It says we're live. So
Oh shoot.
okay. Zachary Cawley, he's going to be a little late since still having a bit of technical difficulties. He has to switch browsers and see if he can get in the call. It's so weird. Like I know like off stream he's been able to get on Hangout calls. And I think on his channel he was able to get on a hangout call on a stream. I don't know. We tested something like sometime last week, but technology.
Technology.
It's
Yeah.
So
technology.
And Zachary
It
said
works
it's
so
fine
well
with being a little bit
when,
late. It's
until it doesn't.
it's all good.
it's all good.
Technology's a friggin' nigger.
So on starting on tonight's stream, we got Crow Magnus, Daniel Westfield, and Darth Revan with me.
Oh boy.
That's Westfall.
Daniel Westfall, otherwise known as the Jerk Online.
And Koi Monsters in the YouTube chat, unless she wants to join us in the call.
Why, you friggin' jerk!
That was delayed.
Yes.
She said she should join you in a bit, but
Okay.
you friggin' two-timing jerk! Jerk online, how dare you?
Oh.
I'll use force lighting on you, you jerk.
PM.
Oh, and the Christmas spirit. Look what you did, you little jerk! If you get that reference, you get a cookie.
Yeah.
All right, Koi, on Discord, I PM'd the link to you.
DM you,
Almond Rose, hello. Hello, Almond Rose. How are you tonight?
I am a bouncing nigger. How you do? Oh my gosh, what I said on stream now. Oh my god, that one stream. Fuck! I know how to pull the camera.
Existing is better than not existing.
That's the way to look at things.
Mm-hmm. If you want to see the chat.
Greetings, I exist. Good job, nigger.
Good job. I mean, you have met the basic requirement for.
Just be sure to mute the video, or else I'll heal the echo.
Nigger. Oh god.
All right. So, have y'all heard about this thought audit?
Thought audit?
The thought audit.
What is that?
So basically, a bunch of 4chan trolls are turning in these cam girls who have premium Snapchat accounts where they post their nudes and such.
Oh yeah, and there's they get reported to the IRS.
Yeah, for not paying taxes on the revenue they get from doing this. So that's a thing that's happening.
You know, the most dudes who do that can go fuck themselves.
Yeah, if you turn somebody into the IRS, you are a bad person. Full stop.
Yes, that makes you a freaking snitch.
You are a criminal if you turn someone into the IRS.
I mean, that's really.
You are a thug. You are a snitch. You are an awful human being. If you
snitches get stitches.
Oh, agreed. We should give them stitches. That'd be fun.
Stitches and snitches, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're not really snitching, but whatever. That would be a term used for the bad guys. I don't know. It's in reverse this time.
Well, yeah. So I've been arguing with conservatives all day over this. on Twitter. So.
Oh, we need a taxation. It's a necessary thing for our society.
Yeah, they're all
Yeah.
slaves.
Are they nuts?
Price
Have they
we
seen
pay
how
for
big the military
civilization.
budget is?
At the end of the day, they're all collectivists.
Yep.
Yeah.
You collectivist nigger.
Oh, I think finally
Yeah,
Zachary's in the call.
Yeah,
I am here.
Yay! All right.
Hello, nigger. How you doing?
Bad time.
Welcome.
Hello,
you're,
nigger.
you're here.
So no more
just in
problems
time for the
on your
crusade.
end.
Yeah, it turns out I needed Chrome in order for it to work.
Jeez.
Oh,
Of course.
yeah.
Oh, just in time for the crusade. All right, I'll hand you a red lightsaber.
I'll take the
Yeah.
yellow one.
A crossguard saber. We can reinvent those because Disney is not canon.
Oh yeah, actually, crossguard lightsabers do exist in Legends, and it was actually invented during the Mandalorian Wars, during the time Revan was around.
Oh yeah.
Your
Revan was
namesake.
like legitimately the coolest character in the expanded universe.
Aw, I love the compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're my new favorite person now.
Okay, since it's Zachary's first time, Zachary, would you like to tell anyone general stuff about yourself? Since it's your first time here.
Sure. Basically, the original intent of my channel was to conduct Christian apologetics, but then once I started to delve into politics and started to become an anarchist, I decided to include Ancap videos as well. I'm actually working on a couple of vids regarding Dusty Smith, aka Code of Dusty, Non-Step Collector,
Cult of
Dave Cullen.
That buffoon.
Yeah. Yeah, Dusty is pretty much a buffoon. There's also, I've done a response to Sargon of Akkad, believe it or not. Yeah.
Soy
bit,
gun
yeah.
of Boycad.
Soygon of Kakad.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's it. Yep. So I got enough cookad.
Oh, by the way, state-enforced individualism intensifies.
Yeah, to think that Carl Benjamin's channel namesake is an Akkadian king that helped bring about the Assyrian Empire and had a lot more guts than him. Yikes.
Yeah, but they're both status, so.
Yeah, I know. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
He's going to bring about the new British Empire.
Oh no.
Oh man, that'll be bad.
Yeah.
They'll make Nigel Farage the king. Oh.
Yeah, so how did you become ANCAP, Zachary? What's your story?
It actually started with watching some of Mr. Dapperton's videos. After I was already a libertarian by then. When I was a lot younger, I was hardline liberal. Then, well, actually, maybe hardline liberal, maybe a hardline conservative. I don't know. I was very hardline status, and then over time, after the election of Trump, I became a libertarian, and then the final ingredient was to watch ANCAP videos. First, Mr. Dapperton, then Filthy Heretic, then Atomic ANCAP, and yeah, everything progressed from there, and I started to think on the arguments, and yeah, it actually started to make sense.
Yeah, a lot of ANCAP stuff does make the most sense out of a whole lot of status stuff. And I actually never was status to begin with. I just didn't know that I've been ANCAP the whole time until like 2 or 3 years ago. That's how I see it anyway. Yeah, so how old is your channel, Zachary?
A few years old. I've actually started using it this year. The first video was my failed attempt at stopping the whole drama between Heretic and Daps. I mean, you all are probably familiar with it by now.
Oh yeah, I think
thankfully,
I've seen that video.
Yeah, thankfully that drama stopped.
Oh,
Yes.
I'll bet there are people learning.
That
I'll
was
bet for
bad.
everyone learning the hard way that Blue was actually kind of, well, yeah, an ass.
An ass and a chaos agent, and yeah.
wait, what the fuck? Hold on. You can pay taxes with Bitcoin in Ohio?
Oh no.
How is that possible?
What?
I think it's just an app, and you can pay for it voluntarily. Like, there's no way they could force you to do it. Shouldn't be able to.
No, you're not paying a tax on Bitcoin. You can pay your taxes with Bitcoin.
Yeah, exactly.
That's anyway.
Oh, you know.
That's yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
I'm not
That's
going to use it.
That's yeah. I'm
Let
not gonna
that
do
thing
that.
die.
Fucking hell! Like, why would we use a decentralized currency that is impossible to tax to? Like, we want to do away with taxation. Why?
We don't want to be to voluntarily who stole from us.
No.
No.
No,
Not to mention,
That's just counterproductive.
That's
yeah,
just sounds niggerish.
yeah, not
Defeats the purpose of crypto.
Yeah, it does.
Not to mention, there's not even that much cryptocurrency of any sort to go around, and for government to use it all that much. I mean, there's only going to be a set amount. They can't just make more. That means they're not going to be able to fund a whole lot with cryptocurrency anyway, so that's a plus for us.
Cryptocurrency is like a decentralized currency, so
Yeah.
Either way, I don't see that program lasting for long.
No, it's gonna die, and it better die.
which program?
The government is so clueless about
The tax, the tax with crypto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, government has been clueless, and they're rather afraid of cryptocurrency.
Oh, and they are rightly scared.
We need to regulate this. This is like they don't even understand
to control it, but how?
They don't understand how the technology works. They don't understand that they literally cannot control it.
and they try to use a really bogus scare tactic. Bitcoin is a Marxist theory of value.
That was
Or it's not as secure. It's not as secure as you think, you silly guys. Go back to being tax cattle. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, frickin' blue turd. It's like the most laughable thing ever that the corporate news media has tried.
Sounds like Ocasio-Cortez would say something like that.
It's the most ridiculous, nonsensical claim ever. It is.
Ooh, somebody has joined the conversation. He's probably
who, a new nigger? Where's the new nigger?
Whoa.
Ooh.
Oh.
Where?
Going a little off topic for a moment. Revan, the word goy refers to nation. It doesn't really refer to an individual.
Oh,
yeah.
Quietly goy.
Oh, Malum, yay! Malum's coming in.
Oh, you silly guys. Bitcoin was just a bubble.
Oh, you're trying to use a silly British accent there. Okay. Yeah, I know the video you're talking about, Revan.
From them. Yeah, it's funny that the government talks about Bitcoin being a bubble when the very economy they made, they created a bubble. Really,
they're the bubbliest bubbles of bubbles.
Hello, Malum.
Stop.
Hey.
They're talking about bubbles, and they're the bubbliest bubbles of bubbles. Bubble.
So I was listening to a debate between Sargon of Akkad and Adam Kokesh yesterday.
Oh my God, he's gonna get annihilated. Go on.
Yeah,
I don't think any Ancapistani were invited at all. If they were talking about us, I don't think they were invited. Well, I've heard. I don't know.
Adam Kokesh. So, I mean, he's an anarchist, but he's running for president. So that's.
How?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, there is such a thing as
something
being a vocab, so
something he said in that, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Is like the way technology is going, we could just make the government irrelevant through technology, and like not even need to revolt or anything. We might not even need to spread our ideas or anything. It's like he's talking about, self-driving cars. Like if that becomes a huge thing, nobody's ever gonna get pulled over ever again, unless they're.
Oh no, they'll find an excuse. What they'll end up doing is just shut down your damn car.
And toy monsters coming.
or they'll try
welcome
to force you to drive normally.
And I guess there's like
maybe
stupid stuff like registration and headlights,
self-driving cars.
all that.
Hey, remember, guys, and remember, state-enforced individualism. That's totally the thing.
State-enforced individualism.
Yes. State-enforced individualism, people. You must be an individual, or else I'll smite you. That totally makes sense.
Yeah, I ride a bicycle, so I don't think it'll be affected that much. But then again, a lot of people will.
No, they'll find ways to regulate the cars themselves.
Unless you have like a blockchain or something on it, or something.
So that's the hell.
So, guys,
Well, I mean, as like a device on the computer. Sorry, go on.
is there anything that you'd like to ask Zachary before we move on to the next topic?
Hey Zachary, would you like to burn in hell?
What?
Would you like to burn in the hell with the rest of the state? Answer it now, nerd.
Koi Monster
I'm
is
not
having
sure
trouble.
what the
technical
question
difficulties
was, but I don't really think hell is really fire. If you think about it, I mean, the Bible also refers to hell as darkness. And one of the things I always say, which I actually got from James Patrick Holding, is the question, do you think fire burns black? I actually think that hell is a place of shame, separation from God. I mean, I could go into more detail, but this is probably going to go way off topic due to it being more theological. So let's okay, next question.
Well, before we change too far off, what we were just talking about, in darkness, wouldn't you say that there's no heat?
In niggerness?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. What?
So so basically with light you get radiance, which radiance eventually generates heat when it impacts objects as a result of transfer of energy. So in utter darkness, which is basically what hell is the darkness, basically a dark realm. Wouldn't you say that hell is basically frozen over?
Unless it's like absolute zero.
Darkness, yeah, the thing is, both the darkness is more. How do I explain it? Fire refers to God's judgment, and so and since, okay, I'm probably going to have to give a link to JP Holding's bit on the matter of hell, because I stick at answering questions on the fly. I mean, his views are more in line with mine, more or less. I mean, he's also my favorite apologist, so I'll provide a link in the comments when we're done.
Alrighty. Anyway, so if there's no fire, I'm just going to assume.
Doesn't it say that there's a lake of fire or something like that in the Bible?
Yeah, it does.
A lake of nigger.
Whoa.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind. Yeah, guys, one thing to keep in mind is apocalyptic literature uses a ton of symbolism. I mean, the Bible's not alone on that. There's also other ancient literature that does as well.
Right.
Again, I would. I mean, again, which again, we would have to go into a whole lot of detail, which would take up a lot of time away from the original intent of the stream. So I'm not going to say a whole lot.
Yep. Well, since I can't figure out a way to get you to accept that, what I was going to try and say was that so basically hell's a freezer, in which case you're still going to get burned. It's just a freezer burn, but that didn't work out. So
It's
Yeah,
actually
the joke's
zero.
on-
You're in a lake of frozen fire of fuckery, Adam.
Do you have a license for that fire?
Booga
Fuck you,
booga,
I'm
man
Lord.
invented fire.
Yeah.
It's called
Not
fuck
really.
you. Zachary, it's called fuck you. I'm a Sith Lord, and I'm allowed to have whatever
Jeez,
I
can you
want.
imagine like the first person who invented fire? Like,
Yes,
Oh my
I am the
God.
first person who invented fire. I'm the one who invented fire. Yes.
Booga
I mean,
booga,
it's
take
not
two sticks,
invented,
rub
but it's
together.
Ew.
This is not call for gay. Shit.
Hey, don't
What's
booga.
gay? I invented it.
Fire is gay. Got it. Okay.
fire is gay.
Booga booga.
Fire is homo. Fire is ape.
So, are we trying to imitate Hoodie Demon all of a sudden?
What?
No, I fire lightning at Hoodie Demon.
Well, because I asked that because we keep saying Ooga Booga, which happens to be Hoodie Demon's line sometimes when he appears.
I don't remember. I don't recall that, but I could
They
see
said
that.
it once.
Well, it
In
happened
one
once
video.
in Killian's video, responding to a dose of Buckley.
A dose of nigger. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
that
his,
was once.
I know his dumbass. Oh god.
I love Hoodie Demon stuff, man.
Oh
no,
yeah.
not Hoodie Demon. I mean a dose of Buckley. He's extremely dumb. Don't even get me started on him. Fuck.
You seem to hate everybody.
Oh yeah, I'm a Sith Lord. What do you expect?
Well, okay, everybody not on the ESO side.
I don't hate Dapperton. Dapperton's cool. No, whatever.
Okay, cool. Cool, we agree on that then. Shite.
There's a lot of people I hate. What do you expect? There's a lot of people who stab me in the back, so I'm a Sith Lord and I choke them to death. You'll fail me for the last time, Admiral.
Yeah, Rose, I'm still here.
You're gonna love only the squirrel then.
There's a lot of people I just choke to death against. Well, I either choke or I use lightning to kick them slowly.
Alright,
Okay, what were we talking about?
well, I guess we could, like, finish, whatever it was, like, questions for Zachary before moving on to, anything else. Like, the main topic.
Yeah, the questions were pretty weird regarding hell. I mean, they didn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Koi can't get in.
What's a
Exactly.
good question?
It says for her that it's stuck on please wait, and she can't get in.
Tell her, I had that earlier. Tell her to basically exit the entirety of Hangout and come back in. There we go.
Yay.
Finally.
Yes.
Oh, nigger.
Oh,
What I
Koi.
missed. Sorry, I had to use the
Okay,
bathroom and get a drink. What I missed.
Okay,
Not
so
too
the
much.
word
The
Koi.
power
Oh.
of nature.
We're talking about firing lakes, all the people I hate, and
Hell.
Well, introduced Zachary, interviewed him a little bit.
Hello.
Yeah.
and you also talk about how many people I choked to death every evening, which is funny.
And I guess
Why does everyone sound so like robotic? What the fuck?
Because I am
Roboto
NPC.
is the roboto.
Be
It's
gone.
like freaking Lopez. You sound like Lopez from friggin' Red versus Blue.
Hey, Lopez, would you like to shoot Griff? Sí,
All right, seriously, what were you guys just
señor,
doing?
gracias.
Well, we were finishing up and asking Zachary questions. Like, maybe you have something that's not weird.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's a lake of nigger like? Okay, there you
What? What?
Yeah, he uses that word a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I noticed.
go.
by the way. He doesn't say it to be malicious, he's just to be
Yeah. Yeah, Riven told me that he does that to spite the guys that try to censor everything. So yeah, I can kind of see why.
Yep.
It's my only way of venting my niggerness out. Oh, hey, there's a gas mask nigger on the screen.
Oh boy! It's a gas
Ooh.
mask.
tablet right now, it's being retarded.
Ooh, nifty.
Oh no, it's retarded.
Yeah, I'm
Lord,
still
give me-
trying to complete it, but what I need is like something better along the lines of visual effects.
That is bound to lose. That is bound to lose. Fuck this.
No, that is medicine.
Oh,
That is medicine.
I'm looking, I'll kill it.
I gotta find proper lighting, damn it.
Mm.
Yeah, a little better.
Hmm.
A dramatic lighting. Dramatic lighting. Dramatic.
This is perfect.
So dramatic. Wow.
What? Zero?
The dramatic. Okay, we're seeing a rip off of I don't know, one movie villain that I don't remember on Green Horn. Okay.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm referring to the movie Green Hornet, where there's the villain in the movie wears a gas mask.
I don't really keep up with pop culture, so I would not know.
All right,
The anime.
Ooh, that was deep.
Yeah. Quite a belch there.
Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I have a flamethrower for a mouth sometimes.
The camera's on, bro.
I guess we could move on to tonight's main topic.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. We could start with
There, if you guys want to see my art.
yeah. Well, since I'm doing streams like twice a week instead of just once a week, because why not? The reading the Fifth Wave novel, that was just the start of like what could be like different things that could go into the streaming series to make it more interesting, entertaining, and better than before. And so, yeah, I could brainstorm or talk about like what other cool things could be involved in this streaming series in the near future. I see Koi is sharing her drawings.
Yes.
Dwellings. Dwellings.
Yeah.
I am not adorable, by the way.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
No.
Man, I started that game and now it spreads.
No, actually, I started that game with Sarah before you did.
Well, as far as I know, no.
What?
Well, as far as I know,
Yeah, we all contribute.
there you go.
To that.
You'll have to have citation.
Yeah,
I can scroll all the way back.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with my drawing tablet, but whenever I have it up here, it has a thing called the shoelace effect.
Fuck is that knife?
As anyone was saying,
I am not adorable.
I
Nope.
think there still could be like a stream once in a while in which could be like just a group of us just playing a fun game and having a good time. I wouldn't mind doing that every once in a while. There may be some streams in which I openly share what I will be researching on.
Revan is a nigger confirmed. Okay.
Dylan, yeah, it's Dylan for you.
Dylan, why, man? Why did you do this to me? You betrayed me.
You were my brother.
Wasn't Revan when he was canon? In the okay, I forget the exact appearance.
Disney does not determine what is canon and what
Oh yeah, Disney is.
Yeah,
not
I was not
canon.
even referring to that.
Wait, why is he
Yeah.
not canon anymore?
It just isn't.
Well, no, he is. Disney does not determine what is canon, so stop. He is canon.
Yeah, of course he's canon.
Revan's more canon than Kylo Ren is.
Yeah,
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like
Kylo Ren is a bitch.
and everyone was complaining that Anakin was whiny. Jesus Christ, at least Anakin had a reason to be whiny.
I liked the prequels.
Yeah.
I don't know why everyone.
At least the Clone Wars did some justice to him. Yeesh.
Oh yeah, the Clone Wars made him much more likable character.
Oh no, made him like a badass. Whenever he got angry, he wasn't whiny. He just freaking just tore your head off.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And a big jokester.
a million years. I went to see it in theaters though.
He beat some guy up for hitting on his wife. Great.
Yeah, he beat the fuck out of that guy. His name was Clovis, by the way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, he says. Yeah, you are. 5 younglings dead later.
It's like, how do you
Okay,
explain that to the authorities? Just a Jedi randomly walks in on their date and beats the shit out
Okay,
of
what are we
them.
going to talk about, Marianne?
It sounds
All
like
right,
Grand
so-
Theft Auto Star Wars edition.
Come on, guys, let's try to stay on topic here.
Okay. Well, what was the topic?
Well, just discussing, just bringing up ideas on like what could make this streaming series even cooler and better than before, and more interesting, more entertaining, that sort of thing. I was about to start beginning on maybe some streams on which could like be going over topics that I'd be researching in. Just recently, I found, well, I got this one book, maybe a few years back, that was donated to me at my bookstore before I had to close the business down, which sucked. But the job I have now is it's decent. One of the comments. So I found this book again that I wanted to go over, since I don't think, as far as I know, not any ANCAPs I know have been going over anything in relation, and specifically in depth in relation to Agenda 21. And I have this book that I will intend to start reading to myself. It's titled The Global Environment, Institutions, Law, and Policy by Norman J. Vigg and Gina S. Axelrod.
Axelrod? Oh,
Yeah.
Axelrod.
What is Agenda 20?
Yeah, I was wondering that.
Agenda 21. Well, it's a government agenda in which it's quite bad. It negatively affects the way people live and how they travel, and rationing on water. And this is all disguised as a front of like environment, like protecting the environment.
Of course.
Hey,
You're protecting the enviro nigger.
And
Yeah,
Dylan-
Don't get mad at us. We're protecting the environment.
yeah, Dylan, it is a ton of BS.
Yeah, so if you want a good example, the best way, if you want to know what Agenda 21 is going to look like, think along the lines of the mega cities from the Judge Dredd universe.
I don't know
Oh,
what
yeah,
Judge Dredd is, dude.
Ooh.
Yeah, just look up Judge Dredd on Google. Wikipedia is a better option. And basically, what you're going to end up seeing is, because government fucks everything up every single time, is a Judge Dredd copy in our world. So, yeah, that's what you want to do.
I don't want Judge Dredd in real life. That sounds like a terrible idea. Oh.
Yeah, well, that's basically what Agenda 21 would also do. And there's rumors and speculations about possible population control, i.e., every city is only 500,000 or 5 million or something like that. So we're talking about a massive wipeout of many
massive
people.
depopulation that's included.
Yeah.
I'll make sure to get my 47 AKM out just in case.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna avoid the cities now.
Well, I guess
there
my family's gonna be one of the first to go.
megacities, and there will be parts of the planet in which would just be, in which no humans would dwell there, like not allowed at all.
Yep.
Yeah, those cities are gonna be quickly depopulated, way down.
Mhm.
Yep.
They'll really limit the size of a city, and
What's wrong with this hand?
that's gonna have some nasty results.
Oh, fuck.
Well, it's gonna have some niggerish results.
Oh, it's way too long. His arm's like in a ring.
What's with you and niggers?
Considering I live in the suburban areas of one of the suburban areas of Indianapolis, one of the metropolis is that counts as a city.
No.
It's gonna be a miracle if I survive that.
Get her.
Well, nice to know that you're in hell, dude. I'm very sorry for you.
Yeah, and this Agenda 21 shit, it's already been going on in like Southern California.
Yeah, of course, California had to start off with it.
Yeah,
Well, Florida's done it too. They've uprooted like 50,000 people or something like that.
Well, that
from
makes
the Florida
sense. There's a Florida man in the state.
Yeah, of course.
I'm making a joke right there. Florida man.
That's why I said of course, because I'd recognize that joke on the spot.
Yeah, so...
But, they've basically violated property rights by putting into legislation the basically the homelessness of like 50,000 people or something like that. I don't remember the exact thing, but that was in favor of Agenda 21. They had a different legislative name, but you get the whole idea.
Yeah, I think where it's like illegal to feed the homeless in major cities, I think that's part of Agenda 21.
Well, there's a whole lot of things.
So literal genocide, huh? Nice.
Well, not only that, it calls for a strong central world government as well. So, hence the New World Order concept. There's a whole lot of conspiracy theories around it, but the problem is a great deal of them are true as well. One of the first things they want to do is set up mega populations, and then basically they'll engineer a crisis. I mean, what you're going to end up looking at is Stalin with the USSR. Just millions of people starving to death. I think they killed more.
Joe, he was mean.
From USSR to USSA.
Please tell
pretty much. Well, it's not the USSA. It's the NWO. Not so much anything else. I don't like
Uncle Joe. He was mean.
So
he made people hungry.
Yeah.
Please tell me the government's gonna fall before we pulled off.
It would not surprise me if Planned Parenthood's part of that plan as well, because they've been pushing for a ton of abortion to keep abortion. They've been trying to suppress people trying to give expectant mothers other options besides abortion. So yeah, it would not surprise me if that's part of the plan as well.
It wouldn't surprise me if planned abortion.
Well, the New World Order is relatively new compared to progressive logic, but it does fit right with it. It does fit right in the progressive agenda. The only difference is rather than simply being along the lines of controlling the United States, they're looking at bringing it to a worldwide thing. Like the European Union, you can find it within you can find it just about anywhere where the Democrats are hosting a lot of this bullshit right now.
Yeah, and the UN is on board with this too.
Yeah. In fact, there's been speculation that part of the reason why they're targeting white people specifically within why they have that anti-white movement going on and why it's culminating in genocides in places like South Africa, why it's been brought up in formerly Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, which are now begging these people back because their economy is ruined. A great deal of that has to do with the with the fact that, like, specifically the Dutch people, which is where most of the stuff is hitting the hardest, they're targeting that culture specifically, in my opinion, not just white people all in general, but specifically the Dutch and I want to say Frisians, people of that heritage, because one of the things they've been pioneers in capitalism before capitalism was even recognized as a word, including secularism, i.e., separation of state and church and state.
It's not the state is
yeah,
a religion.
Yeah, pretty much. But well, basically, when it comes down to it, a great deal of modern freedoms, so to, quote unquote, come from the Dutch, from basically the Dutch and the Frisians. But from there, but beforehand, we've had places like ancient Ireland, medieval Iceland, and so on. So it's just, I think they're targeting these people specifically because they know if they can control them or wipe them out, because apparently it's ingrained in their historical culture. So getting rid of the cultures that have supported ideas of freedom is, against a one world government. Yeah. You want to wipe out the cultures that support freedom, just historically speaking. If you're going to conquer the world, that's what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
Please,
Ouch.
the government's gonna fall before any of that shit can take off.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
especially
work to go on.
economically.
There's plans to make it so people can free technology and that people can suffer 1,000-year sentences. I'm not making this shit up. I have a source on it. Without aging a single decade. Not kidding.
Another
you.
thing,
I'll put
this
it
is.
I'll put it in the
Sorry, I
chat.
thought you were
Hold on
done.
a second. No, I wasn't done. No. I'll put it in
Go
the
ahead.
chat right here in a second. It's really terrifying shit what the scientists are planning. Not kidding you. I wonder if the scientist is a literal fucking sociopath.
They'd have to.
Well, remember, modern medicine is based heavily on Nazi research.
What?
So, yeah,
That doesn't make it illegitimate though, and that's not what I'm talking about. But all right, but no, this woman is a literal sociopath. Here, I got to show you.
I don't blame you. If that's why she's researching that, then yeah, by all means. But look at the fact that we have consecutive life sentences, which is bullshit. And life is based on the oldest man of America, which is 150 some years or something.
Hold on, just let me finish. I just trying to find I'm trying to copy the link. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Anyway, while you search for that, I'm gonna throw my little ad in. Okay.
So a technology where prisoners can serve a 1,000-year sentence in just 8 hours.
Oh, in other words, it's speeding up their. It's kind of like slow-mo.
Yeah, exactly. They're torturing
from the Dread series or movie. Yeah. Not only that, what I'm also looking. One thing I've noticed is that there's a great deal of economic manipulations.
Dude, you cut out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Manipulation.
For punishing severe criminals and all that, they're planning on using and don't get me started. I know they're saying severe criminals here, but when it comes to the state, 1 inch becomes a mile.
Yeah.
With these people, so imagine they're going to extend like punishments on people who just do like evade taxes or something. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe for like 100 years, people suffer for like avoiding taxes or something. I don't know. And that only lasts a couple of seconds for most people, but they'll be suffering the horror.
There was
the state's already okay with solitary confinement, which is a psychological equivalent of putting someone on the fucking cross. So yeah.
I read let's do a short story that this reminds me of. Now what was it called?
I have no mouth that now I shall scream or whatever.
No, close. I have no mouth, but I must scream.
I'm tired and I can't remember and I'm fucking gay. Oh my god, fuck you.
That's what happened at the ending is because what happened? The supercomputer basically, all the last last 5 survivors basically killed one another, except for I can't remember what his name was. Got turned into a blob that had his conception of time warped to make him suffer even more. So
yeah, that's what they're planning to do essentially with psychedelic drugs and all that. Fuck, some of this stuff already fucking exists. Actually, technically.
Oh my god.
And I technically experienced it myself. It is fucking possible. If, like, I had Alice in Wonderland syndrome like that, and yeah, they can do that where they can fucking psychedelically change your perception of time and all.
Jeez.
Oh, crud. Oh, Malmus, you were asking about hell, and I now have the link. I'm gonna provide. I have the link. I'm gonna set it now in the Hangouts chat. There you go.
And they're also able to capably brainwash people who do our prison security guards and all that to make them think that they're doing the right thing and all that. So yeah, but it's only for severe criminals only. And yeah, I doubt that. Fuck.
Please tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Me, God.
I mean,
God, Liberty.
if they're willing to throw people in jail for marijuana, which I don't really endorse smoking, but still, I mean, wow. What's to say they won't go further and imprison other people for other relatively minor things? Yikes.
Well, no, it's not. It's just about the amount of time put into that, an amount of mental damage they'll do to someone. Like, even for the worst of people, for the most time, fuck, that's just, like, even though they're sons of bitches that deserve to die, just kill them. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, get over with, man. Yikes.
Yeah, I know. Like, you don't want to become as fucking cruel as them in the fucking process. Like, God.
Yeah, but they're the Gooberman, and they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, as long as they have power, yeah, they can. But once they lose that power, I want to give them a fucking taste of their own medicine almost sometimes.
Guys, please tell me we can get this. The state's gonna fall before any of this shit happens.
I hope so.
Can't say.
We have to work on that still.
Well, I know one thing. I'm gonna get an AK-47 and make sure to shoot as many. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not gonna be specific, but you get my point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
not a 47. It would be an AKM, which is an upgraded 47. But yeah.
I don't know how his face just doesn't look right. It's really schmooshed.
Where did Malman go? Malum.
Oh.
I guess his phone died on him. He may be back later.
Guys,
We had
can you-
warned in advance that he may pop in and pop out at times because his phone's kind of crapping out on him.
Okay, so you might still see the link that I provided in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Because he did ask about hell, so
Wait, are in hell in regards to this?
he was asking if hell was basically a frozen place, which still doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, let's just get back on topic.
I could read, yeah. Well, speaking of, anyway, I don't know. I want to go back onto my topic, but yeah, speaking of hell, yeah, like, oh my God, fuck. God. I could actually, friggin' go back. I can read the entire article. It's fucking scary. And the woman who thinks that this woman scientist that thinks it's a good idea is a fucking sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, she's a psychopath, straight up. Fuck. I don't know. I genuinely think she's a danger to humans. Honestly, that woman, that scientist.
Liberty Droid's here.
Who?
Droid.
Liberty Droid. Oh my God. Hello.
Yeah. I gave him
Yeah.
the link.
Yeah, I just saw his name and I didn't know who he was, but I figured you guys would want to know since you guys know him probably. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Ancap.
Yeah. Now that we know that they're up to that shit, we have to seriously make sure they fall for sure because we can't let them get any further with that.
Yeah, here, okay. I'll read the article for you guys. Prisoners could serve a 1,000-year sentence in 8 hours. Future biotechnology could be used to make prisoners feel as if they were serving a 1,000-year sentence, a team of scientists claim. Well, you team of scientists are a bunch of freaking. You guys need to be freaking taken out before you guys get too far into this shit. Frig.
Exactly.
You're fucking more dangerous than the original prisoners. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine if the actual felons got their hands on that technology.
Yeah.
They could do a
my
whole
God.
bunch of psychological damage in a short time. Yikes!
Yeah, well, the government in and of itself is a group of thugs themselves. What the fuck do you think they're gonna do?
They're gonna put that shit in the
They're not
water. They're
gonna
gonna put
stop
that
with
shit
probably
in
1,000
food.
sentences within 8 hours. They're probably gonna start like torturing people and all that shit, or have metaphorical solitary confinement, or like make them feel like their skin is burning or something like that. Make them feel like they're Darth Vader, even though it's not actually happening to them. You get my point?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, hang on. Let me read this. Future biotechnology could be used to trick a prisoner's mind into thinking that they have served a 1,000-year sentence, a group of scientists have claimed. Philosopher Rebecca Roche is, I'm probably butchering the fuck out of that name, but whatever, is in charge of a team of scholars focused upon the ways of futuristic technologies that might transform punishment. Dr. Roche claims the prison sentence of serious criminals could be made worse by extending their lives.
Serious criminals.
Well, it's okay. First of all, what's the definition of a serious criminal? You qualify there. First of all, hold on. There's let me finish. There's like fake punishments, like quote unquote, like being a traitor and all that stuff, or whatever, to the state or whatever. And there's also whatever and all that. And there's also there's multiple other things, and there's also constantly people falsely accused and all that stuff.
Yep.
So let's say they're falsely accused, and then 4 hours later or longer, or they've already suffered the punishment within 8 hours, and you've let them out. Do you know the level of damage you can ensue upon someone for being falsely accused of being a serious criminal? Do you know how dangerous this shit is? You friggin' crazy ass monsters! Do you realize the evil that you're tinkering with here?
It'd be funny if we could use the technology against them.
Oh, I definitely want to, just to give them a taste of their own friggin' medicine, honestly.
Certainly.
And the other mod, YouTube being Jaguar is here. Hi, Jaguar.
Speaking to Aeon Magazine, where Dr. Roche said drugs could be developed to distort prisoners' minds into thinking time was passing more slowly. Yep. There are a number of psychoactive drugs that distort people's sense of time, so you could imagine developing a pill or liquid that made someone feel that they were serving a 1,000-year sentence, she said. Well, you're a psychopath. Thank you for telling us, everyone that. A second scenario would be to upload human minds to computers to speed up the rate which the mind works, she wrote on her blog. If the speed up factor were of 1,000,000, a millennium of thinking would be accomplished in 8.5 hours. Uploading a mind of a convicted criminal and running it 1,000,000 times faster than would be enabled to be uploaded a criminal to serve 1,000-year sentence in 8.5 hours.
This sounds exactly like fucking Deus Ex. I am not joking. It sounds exactly like it.
All right, whatever. This would obviously be much cheaper for the taxpayer. Oh, of course. Oh my fucking god. Then extending criminals' lifespans to enable them to serve 1,000 years in real time. Oh my god. 30 years in prison is currently the most severe punishment available in the UK legal system. To me, these are questions about technology are interesting because they force us to rethink the truisms we currently hold about punishment. Yeah, no fucking shit. You guys are playing. Oh my god! You're planning on you're saying that you could possibly make people go serve 1,000 fucking years. Do you know what kind of damage you can do with this shit? And all that stuff. And it's not just making people like serve 1,000 years in normal prison. Again, imagine like 1,000 years of a person constantly feeling like their skin's being burned or something. Frig. They upload their human mind to a computer or something like that, or psychoactive drugs or whatever. Do you understand the crazy shit you are dipping into here? These are people. These are not lab rats. Like even with the most disgusting people, there is a point. Like forget about innocent people. Okay, let's say the most disgusting people. you still don't want to become the very monsters you fight to destroy. Frick, you got to have a limit here or standards for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Dude, even
so, hold on, like, I'm not finished, but these scientists are like selling their own soul to the friggin' devil almost in this thing. Holy fuck!
But they may have. They may have.
They already have. If these people already in 30 years. See, it's interesting because when we ask ourselves, hold on, let me finish reading this. When we ask ourselves whether it's inhumane to inflict a certain technology on someone. You haven't asked yourself that. You haven't. We have to make sure it's not just unfamiliarity that spooks us, Dr. Roche.
I don't think that's the problem.
No,
I don't think that's the problem at all.
It's not unfamiliar. It's not that it's unfamiliar. It's just that, yeah, as you said, it's fucking inhumane. There's oh my god. There's a point where you like,
yeah, exactly. That would be irreparable.
We need the government to stop this, you guys.
I know. We
need to vote this out.
Is it really okay to lock someone up for the best part of the only life they'll ever have?
No.
You guys have already fucking done that. You should have, if you thought about something like that, you should have asked yourselves a long fucking time ago about this. Not or whatever and all that. Not now. It's too late now. You've already done it to millions upon millions and upon millions, possibly billions of people. Fuck. It's too late to ask that question now, and you're making a step even farther, trying to legitimize it in your own head and by saying it's unfamiliar or unknown. Fuck. We already know what this will fucking do.
Well, they don't.
No, they do. They do know. They just don't give a fuck. It's like, how do I explain it?
I knew what I'm doing is wrong.
It's the government.
But anyway.
Yeah, it's all that.
Oh, yeah, you're no different than the fucking worst criminals that you could ever think of. You're no different than them as far as this is concerned. Fuck. Fuck, especially since they are uploading their mind to a computer. Imagine like attacking a childhood of someone's mind or something like that, or fuck. They could probably do that just to make it extra torturous.
Nothing is beneath these people. Nothing.
Yeah, is it really okay to look someone a little inhumane? It might be more humane to tinker with their brains and set them free. When we ask that question, the goal isn't to imagine a bunch of futuristic punishments. The goal is to look at today's punishments through a lens of the future. Oh my god.
That's literally what you just said. That is literally what you just said.
Yeah, they're lying to themselves.
Yeah.
We're not doing futuristic stuff. We're just doing futuristic stuff. You know?
Oh, but we're still going to protect you. We promise.
You can read the article for yourself if I misread it in any way, because I do sometimes have a hard time issues with reading. But oh my god, either way, it doesn't matter if I misread it in some areas or whatever. This is fucking like it's more than fucking scary. Yeah, it's inhumane. There's a certain level of things you can do to people here. Holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Even for the worst types of people out there, like fuck, you just what kind of fucking people are you? Fuck. God.
A bunch of people that
misallocate
resources and yeah.
It doesn't matter if they're convicted or not. You don't want convicted or not. You don't want to become the very monster you fight so hard to destroy, Frig. But that's what the state always does in inevitability.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's by design, considering how political parties work. Like, a rich man bad, and the other SJWs, they want everyone to be they want to keep up the facade of a choice, because if they keep fighting each other, they won't have time to think about all the consistent tragedies under the same government, no matter which party's in charge.
God, I wish I knew where this research was, because I'd find the location of where I could destroy all of their research, or try and destroy as much of it as I can.
Do it.
And I'd probably
Too bad none of us are James Bond.
probably make those people so they can't ever friggin' do scientific research ever again.
Beat them till they are retarded. Yes.
No, I don't want to take the time of beating them.
I'll do it then.
No, I just want to do it fast. I'll just friggin' destroy their brains or something like that.
Well, wouldn't it just be? Never mind.
No, yeah, cutting your brain open really fast and then just cutting it open, yeah, whatever and all that. Yeah, no, it's just a quick fix. It'd be just a quick hot. It would just be a quick hot fix right there, so they can't ever do research ever again.
Well, that's
and we're not being inhumane by suggesting this. We're just protecting other people, honestly, at this point, because fuck. Because these people are using their intelligence dangerously. Fuck.
Yeah.
Without the government, who will bring Am into reality?
Oh, it's like I remember where, like in the Avatar story or whatever, where Aang takes away the people's bending away or whatever. Yeah. We need to take these people's intelligence away because they're misusing it. Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what you guys are saying about research reminds me. There's this email service called Proton Mail. If if more people use that, then even if the government tries to get into the messages, all they see is a bunch of random symbols.
Yeah, because that's encrypted. Yeah, I use that already, dude. I'm trying to.
I need to do that. So hang on. Within an email, it's encrypted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's encrypted. Proton Mail's encrypted. That's why I use it a lot. The main downside for the free version is that you can only upload so many megabytes of a certain file.
I'm back.
Yeah, guys. Yeah, I try to. Guys, can I please talk? I use it for. I switched it over to Proton Mail for a bunch of things, but for some things it won't let me. Like with DeviantArt, it says like, "Oh, this isn't legitimate."
They want your information. That's why.
Blech. Yeah, I already disconnected a bunch of my services from Google, so hopefully that'll help.
Alrighty. Where are we now? Are we still talking about Agenda 21?
No.
We're talking about something far more sadistic than that. Agenda 21.
The topic he links to in the Hangout chat about.
Oh yeah. I gave you a link. I give you a link in the Hangout page.
I'll be right back. My signal's really fucked up and I can't hear. Everybody's botting like crazy.
Yeah. Agenda 21 looks like hotcakes compared to this shit.
Yeah.
Or like fruitcakes, you get my point, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, pretty, like, fuck, I'd rather go through Agenda 21. Please just do Agenda 21. Please, please, please. Don't do the futuristic punishment bullshit. Please.
Yes, let's make this. Dude, this legitimately sounds like that short story, because like that's exactly what Am did. He basically took the last 5 survivors of World War III and basically mutilated them and turned them into like perversions of what they used to be. It's like what's happening here. That's what the government's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's always done. I mean, it's always been doing that, but this is like an even more extreme example.
Well, it's because technology's back behind it. That's why.
Yeah.
It's like fuck. Like, when can the Inquisition end?
Can I before my phone died? Can I got it working, charging now. I found out what the problem was. Can I mention the thing I was going to say earlier?
Sure.
Alrighty. So one of the things I've been mulling in the back of my head regarding Agenda 21 and all this shit that's going on now. So specifically looking at the economic point of view, and it's going to tie into a little bit of the Prussian school model. I think that the unstable economy that we have, where it's just basically one disaster away from all going to hell.
Yeah.
I think that's engineered.
Yep.
The reasoning behind it is the Prussian school model, and the fact that even though Keynesian and monetarism or basically the two mainstream schools of thought, which basically worship the state, have been debunked numerous times, and then and yet we're the ones that get Austrian School of Economics, one of the ones that's been calling out time and again since 1921, I want to say it is, but has basically since Hayek has been since Hayek, everybody's been ignoring us, trashing our thing, even though every single recession, every single depression, every single financial problem has been proven in our studies, and we can literally, to the point where we can predict the outcome. Well, the thing is basically we can practically predict an outcome, even though technically speaking, with an Austrian School of Economics, you can't predict outcomes of economics, yet we can basically tell people what's going to happen just by doing a bunch of graphs and shit like that. I've had conversations with physicists and some mathematicians, and one of the things, like, they only know about they've only really talked to Keynesians and monetarists, and one of the things they've always mentioned is they can mathematically prove them false, that money's coming from nowhere. And one of the problems is that a lot of these people end up socialists because they think it's all about greed, and they think and basically they fall in what the left likes to call capitalism, which is basically corporatism, and not realizing that it's practically engineered by the government, and our systems can prove why. Yet, in spite of the fact that Austrian School of Economics has proven time and again, including like with the housing market crash, along with the neo-Keynesianism, which supposedly also mentioned it, but they're willing to look into that, but not Austrians. It seems like our systems are being suppressed rather than disproven.
Yeah, it does.
In other words, so one of the things, and this ties in with the school of, with the Prussian school model here, fruit flies, time and again, like, even they learn, oh yeah, this doesn't lead to what I want. Yet we're constantly seeing this same crap over and over and over again shoved down our throats. Like, there's a point when it's not just sheer stupidity, to the point where it becomes willful ignorance,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And those
Pure
who
insanity.
Who do not learn from the mistakes of history are doomed to repeat it.
Jesus Christ, even fruit flies are more intelligent than us now.
Well, no, that's the thing, is that, no, they're not that more intelligent. The problem is that we're that damn brainwashed.
Yeah.
Did
one of us just seriously fall asleep, guys?
What? I did not fall asleep.
I heard snoring.
Yeah, I thought I heard snoring too.
I don't hear
Likewise.
Oh, right there.
Okay, now I hear it.
Yeah, I hear it too.
Crow. It's Crow. By process of elimination. I was watching everybody else
are
talk.
smarter than fruit flies. We are. Oh, man.
I can't judge because I've fallen asleep on
flies.
before, but my God,
Yeah.
that's funny. And I am not adorable.
Yeah, I heard that snore again.
I am not adorable.
Sorry, that was me that time.
Oh shit, that's all the way down. That's not good.
Somebody want to wake him up?
Well, we can officially say Prem isn't adorable. Listen to that growling.
I'm not adorable. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Get the key out of there.
I'm not adorable. Nope.
So I'm supposed to find this.
I'll kill all niggers on the planet if you call me adorable one more.
But I can't find.
That escalated quickly.
So I'm just got
a new subscriber.
Hey, Revan.
Subscribe to me.
You're
yay.
adorable. Now go to South Africa.
Okay, time to die, everyone. Sith Lord starts cutting people down. Yeah, I'm killing them right now. I'm bicepting arms and cutting people's arms off and shit.
Yay! Genocide.
I'm dead. I'm dead.
Dead.
Nice knowing you. Killing all the niggers.
Yeah. Oh, god damn it! Did I just kick myself out?
I don't know.
No, whatever.
Nope.
You're gonna die now.
Nope. The snores
You're
confirm it.
gonna have to die too. Malum, you're a nigger. You're gonna have to die too eventually. You know that, right?
Oops, her eyebrow's too thick.
Hell, we're going to friggin' stop the terrorists!
Hey, by the way, the British are coming.
They already knew that.
Damn, it's coming.
You already knew that, you faggot.
We don't know the way.
We do not need to wait.
You know the way.
Am no stupid.
Where are you at, Pismatron?
Not adorable.
Oh yes, speaking of that short story, whoever hasn't listened to that already, if anyone else here guys.
My daddy, though.
Guys.
Stop interrupting Big Sister.
Yes, thank you. For any of those who have not listened to, I have no mouth.
I'll be right back. I'm
fucking hell.
again.
I'm gonna
Stop
punch
interrupting Big Sister.
I will punch at the next person who interrupts me.
I was on your side.
Okay, yeah. If anyone's interested in that short story, there's a good reading of Droid, fuck off. You know what? I'm gonna leave if someone interrupts me one more time, I swear.
I'm sorry.
You don't leave, I did nothing.
I'll stop this.
Not you.
Can I come with you if you leave?
Marianne, if he fell asleep, can you just kick him because his snoring is getting really distracting? Yeah, not
Sorry, Crow.
Sorry, Crow, but you're yes, please.
On before you kick him. Hey, by the way, Crow, you sound like you're farting through your nose.
Wow.
Oh, poor Crow. That's cruel, dude.
That's just toilet humor. That's not really cruel.
Yes, it is. That's cruel. That's cruel and unusual punishment.
Not as cruel and unusual.
Well, it's what I do best, after all.
Not as cruel and unusual as what
It's not
the state
cool, but it's definitely
1,000 years and 8 minutes.
Yeah, I know. 8 hours.
Cruel and unusual punishment. I've never heard that from anywhere. It's not like a piece of paper that was supposed to protect us that said, oh, wait. The paper betrayed us, you guys.
Has cruel and unusual punishment on it. The government's legally allowed to enslave you according to the Constitution.
The paper lied to us, you guys. Our magical paper is not protecting us.
No, it's doing the exact opposite, actually. The government's allowed to literally enslave you.
No fucking shit.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, does anyone want me to link the short story I was talking about? It's a good
Link
story.
the one that's read by the author. That is
yes,
the best
I
one.
listened to that one. That is fantastic.
Yes, it is the best one.
Yeah,
and it
that
is the
is
only one. There are no others. That is the only one that you are allowed to listen to. And if I catch you listening to one that's not by Ellison, I will sodomize you.
Dude.
Why did you say who you're going to sodomize? What? Fuck. That escalated fast.
Yeah, but okay. That's not what I said.
How did we get on that topic?
We just went to sodomization. What are we, a bunch of Muslims? Friggin' hell.
Also, for those interested, if you haven't heard of it, this short story before, it was also adapted into a video game. That's also
yes, that's probably one of the best point-and-click games of all time. I wish I had it now.
Stop cutting Big Sister off.
And
we're talking about this. We're having a conversation.
Yeah, don't worry. Here, let me see. Marianne, you should probably actually put this if you want other people to see it. You can also paste.
Yeah, I'm gonna link everything in that you linked me, and paste it in the call chat,
and not just like
in the
description, so other people can see it. Because
see what we're talking about for themselves.
Because the short story is about like it's an alternate history where they create the 3 biggest governments create 3 giant supercomputers to run the war for them, and it then merges into one supercomputer, and then kills everyone except for 5 people, basically.
Yeah.
Just to prolong their torture.
Yeah, and just to continue to torture them, because the reason why Am does that, or to even keep anyone alive, is because it was basically just created to think, and it's like, oh, all I can do is just think. So it tortures people to entertain itself.
You see, the sad part is, if the computer really wanted entertainment, he would have just left the rest of the world alone.
Like, one of the things
I'm saying, like, literally cut off the governments from their supercomputer and just watch as people war. Would have been more entertaining.
That would probably be a worse fate than being at the hands of Am.
Well, I was saying one of the problems. Oh, excuse me, my voice. Hey, you guys. Anyway, the one problem, plot hole, I don't know, maybe it's just because Am's just a dick, but was that one of the YouTubes who, because it was also adapted into a comic book, and some guy also did a review for it, and he's like, oh, I don't get it. If he has all this intelligence, why doesn't he just create wings for himself or a body for himself to walk around? And maybe Am's just a dick. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Am makes.
Well, no, because there was this thing that I read about Am. I forgot where it was, but it said that Am hates man because man is able to create, but Am is only able to destroy.
No, he's able to. No, I think it's the opposite.
No, because I don't know why Am would hate man if he was able to. Well, he can morph and distort things, but he can't create them.
Yeah. Because it's kind of like the government, huh?
Yeah.
That was interesting.
I forgot where I read that.
Make sure to link the article that I talked about, whatever, in the along with the short story.
Yeah. Also,
yeah, I'll put all links that were left in the call chat in the description after the stream.
Also, I think we should leave a link to the short story as well as the video game if anyone's interested in the video game, because the video game goes into more detail of the characters. It actually has like more in it. Because the thing is, it's a good short story, but it was written in one night, so yeah, it needs a little more fine tuning.
Yeah,
it's only about an hour long to listen to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good short story.
My children.
What?
There was once a time where people had to walk through woods and trees.
Yeah,
and then there was the Great Gov. And as people were walking, he said, "Let there be roads." And the trees and grasses divided. And concrete and tarmac and concrete rose from the ground. And there were roads.
The roads were good.
Oh, guys. But without government, who will delay the maintenance of Madison Avenue in Indianapolis?
And people asked the Gov, Almighty Gov, to take care of the roads. And he said, huh?
Well, the fuck, why should I take care of them roads? Fuck them roads.
Also, or let's see, can I get maybe I should just leave the link to the video game from Steam itself, actually, because people should check it out. Steam.
Oh, is it on sale?
I do not know. Let me see. It's not that much, I think, anyways.
Well, it's pretty old. It's like 20 years old, I think. Almost.
Yeah, pretty old game, actually.
Almost 30, maybe.
The thing is, the game itself sucks, but it's worth it just for the story alone, really.
Would somebody stop friggin' fondling their mic already? Enough with the avalanche!
Mail them.
I thought I canceled my subscription to the Static channel.
Fuck. You guys are fucking fondling your mic like 24/7. Fuck sakes.
Come you guys.
Gotta move shit around, man. And it's not the mic I'm fondling.
Ooh.
Oh, you're not fond. Oh, I know what you're fondling.
Oh, and by the way, Cole, you should probably recommend the game Deus Ex. It basically goes over what we just did with like the pill thing, with like the psychoactive drugs and stuff.
Sorry, I never heard of you.
Oh, it's an awesome
Hey,
game.
what the heck's going
It
on?
is.
Who?
So it basically just roasts the shit out of the government, and it also adds in like a bunch of conspiracy theories. It's pretty cool. You basically get so basically you go from shredding the streets of New York to fighting the aliens in Area 51.
Well, can you please link me because I
as a secret spy war. But seriously though, like there's like a group. They call them terrorists, but they're actually like a secessionist force. But if you choose to initiate conversation with them, they'll tell you about their cause, and they'll basically just say like they'll state facts on why the government is ruining the way of peace and the people, which is like, whoa, I actually had no idea that it did this shit.
Hold on, guys. This game is like ridiculous.
The dark conservatarian's here.
Behold.
Yeah, he's asking to get in call. Of course, he can join.
Okay, so
now
the soundtrack in that game is
calling.
It is
not cutting off, big sister.
We
sorry.
All right, caboose.
Sorry.
All right. Here, I'll copy the link. Guys, stop. Okay, here's
not off, big sister. Else I'm gonna crucify you.
Now you're doing it too.
Joke's on you. I'm a robot. I can detach my arms and legs and fly away.
Joke's on you. I could probably use force lightning on your whole body and probably fucking fuck you after one shot.
I was lying. I can't fly.
Guys, the game is like 75% off, and it was already like only $5. Now it's only like $1.49. So get on that.
Check
if you
out.
want to play that game.
Check out Deus Ex Human Revolution.
No. Get the first game. Get the one that's blue.
I
that
can't
one is
spell-
the best one that roasts the fuck out of the state.
Stop cutting her off. Stop cutting big sister off.
Where you just go, boy.
Okay, I can't spell for shit. Please link it to me, dude.
DEUS space EX. And click on the blue one that looks like the Matrix.
I can't. Please just link it to me. It'd just be easier.
Please hold.
Dark conservatarian is coming in. Yay.
Please hold.
Yeah, someone needs to do is find these scientists and make them retarded somehow.
How are you going to do that? By force?
They're not really giving us much of a freaking choice.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yes, I am glad to be welcomed. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I guess to do a bit of a recap to you, Darky, we interviewed Zach Cawley, since it's also his first time in here, and went over briefly on ways the stream could be improved, like evolved to be more cool, more entertaining, and just better than before.
Okay.
And we went over the topic of Agenda 21, and we went over we went over like this one news article or something that Raven posted about prisoners could serve 1,000-year sentence in 8 hours.
They're fucked up people, I swear.
And they were just.
I I have a question. Is Zach Cawley the guy with the red cross and blue square with the ANCAP background?
Yes.
Yeah, that's me.
Stop cutting Big Sister off. I'm gonna kill all of you.
Silence.
I gotta say that they gotta make a. I'm just gonna say for the record, they gotta make a Darth Revan movie.
Oh crap!
That would be awesome.
Well, as long as Disney doesn't fuck it up. Sorry, go on.
As long as who doesn't fuck it up?
Disney.
As long as they don't have what's his dick directing it.
What's his dick?
I cannot remember. What was the name of the guy who directed Last Jedi?
That sounds like something H3H3 would say. What's his dick?
I hate saying this, but I don't think
Ryan Johnson. Yes, thank you. I can't even remember that. I did not remember the name, but yeah. I mean, I've been watching a whole lot of Star Wars drama videos, but I could not remember the name for some reason. I feel ashamed.
Oh, good. What's his dick? It sounds like something H3H3 would say. What's his dick?
I'm still thinking along the lines of episode 8. So that's how you get rid of Nazis, ladies and gentlemen. Kill yourself in the process.
Sounds good to me. You go first.
Yeah. Kill yourself. Try to kill yourself. Don't you mean attempt to kill yourself, but in the process get foiled by an Asian girl?
Almond Rose.
What kind of save the world? You kill yourself.
So Almond Rose says, Revan appeared in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, but no, not officially. It was just in a stupid friggin' no, Lucas canceled that. Fuck. Because they wanted to be Lucas purists, where they said, "Oh, only Lightsiders should be able to come back from death and all that in spirits," which is bullshit, honestly, in my opinion. That adds so much like story potential if Darksiders could come back from the dead as well.
Wait, didn't Darth Revan in the canon turn to the light side in the end?
He turned into a dark side adept, not a Jedi.
Yeah, I don't think like Darth Revan was just a flat out bad guy, or at least not of the same level as say Darth Sidious, for example. Like he was.
No, there's barely anyone as evil as Sidious.
Right. I mean, he was more like an anti-hero, more or less. Wouldn't you say?
Not really, because again, remember, he can still have good intentions, but still do terrible things. Again, yes, Revan's intentions were good during the time of he was a tyrant, but yet again, dude, he still slaughtered children and conquered worlds and all that just to get his way.
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Slaughtering children. Be slaughtering children unless they're like a school shooter. Yeah, you done fucked up if you're slaughtering children.
I know,
because again, like, okay, hold on. Well, again, like, how do I explain it? Revan was manipulated or whatever, and all that stuff or whatever, into thinking like, like how during World War II, where men had no choice but to attack Nazi youth soldiers and all that because they put other men in danger. Or whatever.
Oh right. I mean, there's also the fact that that is if. Children are being put on the front lines as soldiers to try and kill you. That's another exception. I go mentioning school shooters, but there's like underage school shooters. But
what if you're hungry?
Or if you're hungry? No, don't eat kids. What do you think we are?
You've never had shawarma.
Anyway, he thought like again. That's what Vader's and Revan's reasoning was again because they thought that they were being brainwashed by a bunch of tyrants. They think that that's evil. Always make its excuses or whatever that they have no real choice. Well, sometimes it's not an excuse, but this time it was. It was an actual legitimate excuse to kill children.
Okay.
Okay, Revan.
Okay. So the primary reason as to why I was kind of interested and want to join this hangout was I was kind of wanting to talk about Bimler.
Oh, Blaine.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I want to hear his sorrow.
Oh man! Apparently, Blaine Tulloch has a higher reputation than I originally thought he did.
No.
Oh, maybe not, because I don't really know shit about him.
No.
Nor do I really care.
Okay, well,
About it
Esoteric
anyway.
knows of him, calls him a piece of
Yeah.
shit. Marianne and Capicity knows of him, calls him a piece of shit. Koi Monster here and Darth
Yeah.
Revan also cringing of the idea of the thought of him. So apparently, I mean,
Yeah, if Crow didn't go to bed, he would have said, well, I'll just say on his behalf since he went to bed. When they used to be friends and Blaine introduced Crow into anarcho-capitalism. And this was before he turned into an asshole.
A slime.
Blaine.
He betrayed me twice.
Crow Magnus, he was here earlier. Another ANCAP friend of ours, like mine, Malum's, Koi's, Revenants, and Droids.
Yeah, he got turned to anarcho, as you say, he got turned to anarcho-capitalism by Blaine Tulloch.
Yes.
And
this was like way before he turned into who he is now.
Blind bag, yeah.
And I'm the one who turned Blaine into an ANCAP. Oh, I was the one who broke the straw from him. I was the one who turned him from a minarchist to an ANCAP.
Well, tell me how the fuck it is that he turned into a fucking pseudo-libertarian to the point that he wants mass killing of Muslims and commies just for being Muslims and commies.
He fell into the hate. He's 6'6" and black, and he can't get a date.
No, it's because the reason why he probably did that is because, again, what happens with... It's probably either Hoppianism or something like that or whatever, where... Not talking about all Hoppians here, but a lot of them are freaking, like, judgmental and all that stuff, and Papa himself was pretty judgmental of other people, and one of the routes to becoming a statist again and all that stuff is being judgmental because you begin becoming disgusted of certain weird or disgusting behaviors, but are not necessarily unethical. So you just start wanting to hurt people that have done nothing wrong, or done nothing unethical, essentially, or whatever, and try and again, he's basically he's reverting back. He's just reverting back to statism, essentially speaking. He's turning into a judgmental he's turning into a judgmental tyrant on the levels of probably Pinochet or Hitler or something like that, because that's what
Dark conservatarian. Do you want to share what?
Yeah, I see what coin means. Fuck.
What?
Yeah, we really need to organize these streams better because everyone just talks over each other and it gets really fucking annoying and just
for real
wastes everybody's time.
Anyway, as I was saying, but yeah, like again, like that's what happens with a lot of Hoppians and all that stuff. Not all of them, but quite a few of them. That's what Filthy means by going full Hoppian. Like quite a few of them, like start becoming like judgmental and all that stuff towards certain people, and then start like thinking of using force against innocent people or whatever that might have done something disgusting, but you know, like or awful or something like that. But that's not necessarily unethical. So whatever, or something that's weird or whatever. You start hating people for weird specific behaviors, like I don't know, being gay, for example. I don't know.
I'm just going to say this right now, that if you start becoming a social authoritarian to the point that you want the mass killing of people just for their beliefs, well, then that's when that you lose your ANCAP card, in my opinion, and that applies to Bimler.
Along with abiding by the NAP when it suits you.
Oh my gosh, that's why that I asked him, dude, are you a fucking Poe? Because he was like showing some blatant hypocrisy right there. It was utterly disgusting.
He also believed before he started heading down that road. He also believed in torturing people.
Believed in torture.
Then he was never an anarchist.
Well, you remember you were in that debate between me and him or whatever when I tried to say that was a bad idea. Because when I was an awful person, I started becoming the very monster, and guess what happened to me? Look what I turned into. I turned into a friggin' tyrant.
Okay, so one of the things I want to interject, I don't know all about Hoppian, but from what I've heard from somebody who has studied it, and we all know her, Shiny, Yeah, I know you guys don't exactly like her because of Prometheum. Anyway, from what I've heard, basically, Hoppianism is and Hoppe has had to come out and defend it and basically try and explain what he meant. What the left is doing specifically, like with regards to Twitter, Google, YouTube, where they're making it hostile for conservatives and anybody right wing to
or anyone who just disagrees with
basically
them.
voice their opinion. That's what he meant by forceful removal. Of course, this is according to Shiny, who knows more about it than it seems the rest of us do. As for the physical stuff, Hoppe has always, according to Shiny, Hoppe has always denounced that and said that it is a violation of the non-aggression principle. Essentially, just make it where it's hostile for leftists to get their ideas out there, because he basically puts out that that leftists, they appeal to the very things that make humanity great in order to make us do something terrible.
I
you
never
find
said
that
person, but go on.
Yeah, so so unfortunately, I personally have not read into the works, mainly because I never really had time, or never have time to really research anything at the moment. Like, I'm still on some things that I wanted to get done months ago. Yeah, so the thing is until I see all of his work for myself, I'm not going to go into that thing. But I think the problem is that some people are kind of like what they do with the Bible. They just reinterpret it to justify their own means.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's happening. Is Hoppe meant to basically just say, yeah, make the internet deplatform them, because that's all you got to do. But when you try to do mass murder and shit, that's not Hoppian theory at all. All it is.
Wait, what is Hoppianism, anyways?
I really don't know.
It's Hoppe's version of Ancapism or whatever.
All right.
Or take on what happened and all that stuff, and a bunch of other things. It's basically his take on it or whatever, and it's fine for the most part. But again, what I'm talking about, again, he's very judgmental and all that stuff. That's the point. And
I haven't seen that yet because I haven't gotten that far. But
well, whatever. Yeah, well, he is judgmental of certain actions or whatever and all that stuff.
That reminds me of certain somebody.
Hold on, not saying that that's a bad thing in and of itself, but the problem is that, again, being judgmental in certain scenarios and all that stuff when people are not doing anything wrong or whatever leads back to a root of becoming a statist again.
Mm-hmm.
See, what I'm looking at, though...
Hold on, because, again, you're judging people based on actions that are not unethical, but you consider, what's the word I'm going, distasteful, basically speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, what I'm looking at, though, is that
how they legitimize the drug war and all that shit.
Okay, are you done?
Well, yeah. Well, there's a lot of details that need to go into, and also, you still cut me off and cut everyone else off, so don't even start with me.
Yeah, and so
Guys,
do you.
Please don't argue.
Please don't.
Listen, it's just the problem of having a lot of people on stream. Okay, we have to figure out this problem. Okay, no fighting amongst ourselves.
Well, I can fire shots.
No. The power.
Yeah,
of
I was just listening this whole time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Guys, please just let me speak. We have to clarify when we're finished. If there's more than 3 of us, we have to clarify exactly when we're done speaking, because that is a huge problem. It's like, I want to say something, then someone goes, and I'm like, I was still trying to talk. So we have to clarify when we are finished talking. Okay.
Yeah.
I am now done.
Can I add one extra thing into that?
Yes, you may.
No stupid sound effects too.
Zowie.
So, because that also throws things off as well.
All right. Yeah, we have to set up more guidelines for this, because yeah, this has been a huge problem we've had ever since, like, definitely set some rules for if there's over 3 people in the stream, because I think we have like that problem, like, also not as big as a problem when there's only 3 people here, but it's like, yeah, it's still a pain in the ass though, so we have to figure out something, like we have to maybe time how long one person can talk or whatever, or give an estimate of how long, or just like, like I said, just clarify, okay, yes, I am finished speaking, you may speak next.
And if I may chime in here, like this is like going back to Bimler primarily.
Ugh.
Marianne, you were like curious as to how that I came across Blaine Tulloch, and so like I took a hiatus a few months back. Like this was like in late July, early August that I took a hiatus from YouTube and Twitter, and this was like right after the prime heat of the Esoteric Entity and Dapperton drama. And Blaine wanted to like start his own ANCAP server and just gave out the link to a whole bunch of other people. Like, I don't even remember which Discord server that it was originally that he was on, and I was on coincidentally, but then he invited me onto his ANCAP server, and that's how I got more and more introduced to him, and he was mentioning of how he thought that between the two, he thought that Esoteric Entity was the worst of the two. I mean, I don't know the nitty-gritty details of that whole drama, so maybe somebody can absolutely school me on that drama, but still.
Maybe off stream.
Well, long story short, long story short, basically Blaine accused SO of being a child molester.
Okay.
I know that accused him of attempted murder at one point as well.
Oh yeah, that's right too. Oh my god, like my thing is, well, sorry, just let me say one more thing. Because I've been going through like, because I write a story, have beta can't speak because I'm working on a story and I have like different beta readers and shit. And my one former beta reader, he got into an argument with me because he's like an alt-right guy, and he took like my disagreements with him way too personally. And then like when he unironically blamed the Jews for 9/11, I was like trying to debunk him on that, and like I took a screenshot of SO's response to him, and then he's like, "Oh, he beat a kid until he was retarded," and it's like, that's bullshit. And he's like, "No, it's not." So yeah, it's like, I mean, so Blaine ended up like, well, I think we would have had a fallout anyways, but like, yeah, he made things worse between me and my beta reader, because
that's kind of ironic too that he would accuse Esoteric Entity of murder when he himself advocates for systematic murder of commies and Muslims. Like, what the fuck?
Well, that's him projecting. That's why.
But
makes no sense.
I know that there's kind of some bad blood regarding the whole SO, DAPS, and Heretic drama. I mean, I tried to ask just a very quick question of if things were still cool, if things were cool now between Heretic and DAPS, like it was directed more towards Heretic when he was on one of my 2 cents, his own streams. And then they got kind of uppity that I even asked that. And I was like, oh, man, there was really blood, like real bad blood, and even mentioning it, much less in the activity of that drama. But anyway, so how I got introduced to Blaine Tulloch, yeah, that's how I got introduced to him, is that I accepted his the invite to his Discord server. He gave his opinion on that. I gave my opinion on my rather, I guess you could say, uneducated opinion about the whole circumstance. But and then he wanted to get rid of that ANCAP server for some reason and created his own server that was supposedly for ANCAPs only. So I started to accept the invite. Then I saw the rules. It says ANCAPs only, not even minarchists are allowed. And I just very kindly backed out of that server because I known that I was not invited on. And then he asked me about my opinion on anarcho-capitalism, and it was kind of ironic because I go saying to myself as to how ultimately I don't think it's really that feasible, and then he's all like a sudden example of how there was like this one small community that basically had its own miniature Ancapistan, and then he's all like, so it is attainable in this example, and now, a few months later, he's telling me about how he only wants the NAP to be applied on occasion for his own advantage. Like, it's like, what the fuck? At first, I thought
not how that works.
At first, I thought Blaine Tulloch was a rather chill dude at first, but now I just realized that he's kind of psychotic.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
there's another guy called Voltaire. I do not know if you guys ever heard of this guy, Frederick Voltaire.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Moron.
He's
Yeah.
retarded.
Yeah,
those,
that guy is a pseudo-libertarian in of himself, but at least I'll give him credit that he supports Pinochet, but he doesn't outright support the systematic killing of commies like Pinochet carried out. He just seems apathetic towards it, which is rather shitty, I would still say, but not near as shitty as the outright advocacy for systematic killing against those who disagree with you, that being what Blaine advocates for, as opposed to Voltaire.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Alrighty. Just a little side note. If you decide to look up into the Mr. Dapperton Esso case,
why are you even talking about it now? It's old news.
Because you mentioned it earlier, and I just held that out.
Yeah, I mean,
slander went around and all that shit and whatever, and a bunch of non-thinking went around and all that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Basically, it was like a political shit show. People just started flinging shit at each other.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like stir the coals on this again. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if it's dead to you guys, it's dead to you guys, and I won't mention it again. But that I'm just still mentioning the context of the story, how I met him. It was like because of the whole drama within the ANCAP community that was stirred up mainly by those three big players, Heretic, Daps, and Esso, that made Blaine want to like separate off from the rest of the ANCAPs. Because I guess he thought of himself not being as petty as these drama-filled ANCAPs or whatever.
Ironic.
How the fuck are you being petty? He's like frig, I know the drama's over, but still, it's like there was pretty friggin' severe shit coming from both sides and all that shit. Nobody was fucking petty. God.
Yeah, and not to mention
what I don't. Sorry, I'm not finished. It's like no, from neither side it was fucking pity. Both sides were freaking flinging shit at each other, major shit, life damaging, ruining shit, levels of slander and all that shit. And that's the reason why and all that stuff and whatever and all that, and getting people's like nothing petty about it on neither side. Fuck. Friggin' Blaine doesn't get like he doesn't like whatever I was talking to him and all that shit. Like when I was on Discord and whatever and all that, like. Sometimes he just straight up doesn't understand Jack Point shit. God.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Okay,
all right. Sorry. Yeah.
Guys, can I please get a word in about something?
Oh, okay. Go ahead. I have to get a drink. I gotta get a drink, so you go for it.
Okay. Well, while you guys were talking, I was thinking about if government's trying to go with that agenda thing with intentionally making the economy crap to wipe out everyone, then I would suggest that if you cannot obtain crypto right now, and you cannot really afford a hardware wallet like the digital bitbox I have, then I would suggest, and I've actually done it and it was suggested to me and that's why I did it, take a USB and then go to one of the crypto websites, the official ones, generate several to many rows of addresses and wallets, and then copy and paste those rows onto a file so that, I mean, you don't even have to print the wallets. All you need is a file with those addresses, keys, and such onto a document file, and save that onto a USB because that's going to be about as secure as a hardware wallet. That's what I've done. I mean, that's what I've done recently. I went to btcprivate.org and generated 70 rows of addresses. When I copied down the addresses, the spending keys, and private keys, because I went with the private feature, and not only will I now be able to obtain Bitcoin private, I'll be able to spend it anonymously. So I would recommend giving that cryptocurrency a try, if you can.
All right. Well, there's a bunch. Yeah, it's market competing right there. Always a good thing. It's always innovating. It's beautiful.
I would also think about going into gold.
I'm not finished.
Sorry, very sorry.
Yeah, Bitcoin Private basically is a merging of some features of Bitcoin with Z Classic, was it? Z Classic, in order to get the benefits of both. And since it doesn't really, and actually eliminates a lot of the problem with scalability with the actual Bitcoin, so that it doesn't really cost as much. And right now, Bitcoin Private is cheap, real cheap, like less than $2 worth. Plus, and since there's the Z Snarks or whatever that Z Classic has that's now in Bitcoin Private, you get both the privacy and the, I mean, that's what I've read on their website, anyway, and their research paper. Okay, I'm finished. Go ahead.
I don't know if I have much more to talk about. I mean, I was just mainly joining this stream because I was curious about the history of Blaine. I mean, and Capikitty like mentioned the idea of on stream talking about him. So
yeah, I did wanted to give him the choice of doing that. So
backstabbed me twice,
and he also pestered me about something that I don't want to get into.
Yeah, he pissed me off. Like he has no sense of privacy.
Yeah, like
he stabbed me in the back twice.
Yeah.
You know, it's probably a good thing that the guy is no longer actually making content on YouTube, as he claimed he once did.
Well, he wanted to become the next Keemstar. He quoted himself.
Oh God,
what? An ANCAP version of Keemstar.
Oh God.
Yeah, you know, like what that guy has done. He's fucking doxed people and shit like that. Like,
okay, I'm going to say this right now. ANCAPs are some of the most substantive types of YouTubers that I have seen on this platform, especially far more substantive than drama whores like freaking Keemstar. But at least to you guys like focus. You'll occasionally talk about the whole culture war, like the skeptic community will, which I get a kick out of that occasionally. But when you guys go talking about economics and economic principle, I find that far more substantive than going on and on and on about the culture war as if it's a never dying issue. You know,
I think it is kind of dying down, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, somewhat is, but yet again, they're still moving on with it. We've won the argument, but the thing is that they don't they can't take the fact they lost the argument, so they'll continue on pushing on their bullshit. That's the problem. So we do need to continue talking about it. However, we need to keep it on a minimum so it doesn't become, dried up like that.
It just needs to be a contingent kind of issue, like so that we can keep the progress that we've already made. Kind of situation is what I think you're meaning, is what you're trying to get out, right, Revan?
There we are.
Yeah, somewhat, but again, it's in general, it's just whatever. You don't want to press a button too many times before it breaks.
Right. I mean, nowadays the skeptic community is proving themselves of how corrupt they are.
Like Crowd T and his doxing server and all that shit. Oh my god.
Sargon with his stupidity of handling Mr. Medicare, calling him a child groomer.
But yet again, if you wanted to insult Mr. Medicare on something, call him a friggin' cop sucker if you want anything.
Right.
If I may.
Yes, Zach?
Yeah, Medicare is a major bootlicker.
Quay Monster?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, whenever I hear about the skeptic community being corrupt, I can't help but laugh and go, since when was the atheistic community, even before the skeptic community, not corrupt? They just go after the lowest hanging fruit possible and then claim that they have some moral high ground. I mean, at least talk about trends and ideas. Shit.
Well,
it's a hard thing to do these days because it's easier just to slander your opponents and get away with it.
Teal Deer would be one of the more sensitive members of the skeptic trademark community.
No, he doesn't. He friggin' jumps the gun on multiple situations and all that. I will go in. Yeah, he jumps the gun. Fuck.
Also, that one time when they were mass demonetizing it, like advertiser friendly shit, he took YouTube's side on that. It's like it's their platform. I mean, the thing is, I would agree with that, but at the same time, they're a monopoly. I would not have an issue with that if there was no monopoly.
Well, he's not as bad as someone like, for example, Teal Deer's not as bad as someone like, for example, what is his fucking name again from InfoWars? Not Alex Jones, the other guy. Fuck. Paul Joseph Watson. Yeah, bingo. He's not as bad as.
Oh my god, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I know. He's not as bad as him, but he still did do similar things where he judged people on based on distaste rather than something they've actually fucking done unethical.
I have a question, Koi Monster. Are you an ANCAP?
Yes.
Like, freak, everyone has, like, you know where that statement where everyone says that they're weird and all that stuff, like, everyone's weird? We all have our freaking things that are distasteful and all that stuff input into us. There's no, like, in my opinion, like, there's no true, like, pure no degenerate or something like that. Or whatever, something like that. So,
yeah,
well, if we're going to all start arresting each other for things that we find distasteful and all that, why not just arrest everyone? We all freaking handcuff ourselves.
I mean,
pretty much.
Okay, here's kind of something that I wanted to address. Koi Monster, you sound like that you had like an issue with Teal Deer saying that it's the fact that YouTube is privately owned that they can demonetize somebody using their platform if they want to.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought the typical ANCAP position was that a privately owned business like YouTube was allowed by rights to do that.
Well, the thing is, I agree with that, but at the same time, this is before I was an ANCAP. I was angry about that, but the thing is, I realized that getting the state involved isn't going to help because the state got us here in the first place.
Right.
So at the time that you're pissed off at Teal Deer for saying that you weren't an ANCAP, you were not an ANCAP?
Yeah, that was like I've only been an ANCAP for like I haven't even been an ANCAP for like a year, dude. I became one in February. I've become one in February.
But looking back on Teal Deer's own statements, you would say that they're not as disagreeable in your eyes?
I think, yeah, he made good points, but he still does some. I haven't watched him in a while, but then again, because like the thing is, I just got so bored with the anti-SJW baloney. It's like,
well, yeah, I mean, although Teal Deer, he doesn't repetitively just make a response video after response video after response video to feminists. He goes off on other issues as well. I mean, yeah, he made like a piece on the whole sex robots thing and feminists bitching about that thing. But it also goes on mental health. For one thing, he did like a piece on the whole Wall Street Journal, the hashtag Wall Street Journal kills kids situation, which, by the way, finding out that Ethan Ralph is a doxer himself, that makes me less sympathetic towards him. But I still think that that St. Jude should have kept the money and ultimately. But yeah.
Wait.
That's dark.
What?
Sorry.
You know, the thing about Teal Deer and your icon remind me, did Teal Deer respond to one of your videos once?
Wait a minute, one of mine? No,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
No. I mean, your icon kind of looks familiar, and since you mentioned Teal Deer, I had to ask if you and him had a little back and forth once before on YouTube.
Okay. Wait. One second. Give me a moment here.
Because I think Teal Deer responded to you once. Oh, Bearing.
Yes, he's like one of the only last good anti-SJW channels,
Yeah,
and I love.
I am that guy right there. That was when I had a crappier profile picture, but yes, that is me right there. Thank you for recognizing my voice and personality.
Bearing's hilarious sometimes.
Also his girlfriend too, Sugar Tits.
Oh no.
I love Sugar Tits.
But yeah, that's another piece of drama on its own. I mean, it's kind of a long dead issue, but the reason why I got involved was because Loudmouth made a big issue with Bearing, like basically promoting AIU's channel by shadow collabing with him and having a friendly live stream with him, which I can agree with Loudmouth on, but he might have taken it overboard. But the main reason why I engaged that drama myself was because I thought Bearing was like editing Loudmouth out of context. So I made my own response video, and then Bearing made a response video to my response video, which then boosted me up to 130 subscribers. And ultimately, I actually got it in a one. Well, actually, not. It wasn't one-on-one, but I got in a debate with the Bearing. Like I was on stream with the Bear. I've been on stream with him at least twice ever since that drama, actually.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
I remember that video, that response video Bearing made. Now that you mentioned it, I mean, I don't remember a whole lot. I may have to watch it again in the other videos, but
right. I think what I liked best about that video is, for one, the fact that half the comments I was getting from his fans I legitimately thought were freaking funny. Like there's this one dude who actually who actually said that it looked like I was wearing my own grandma's sunglasses and I got my coat from a lesbian. Like I stole a lesbian tea coat.
What the fuck?
that was one of the funnier ones. And also, I kind of got a kick out of the fact that he called me JP. Yeah. Let me screen share here again. This is like basically my review of that drama, my own personal review of it. Peace. Bearing versus Loudmouth drama review. And this is like a clip of myself, like I edited and invading my apartment.
Smooth, dude.
He actually featured this clip on a video of his own, which kind of that was the thing that boosted me up to over 200 subscribers, and now I'm at over 300. And want to know how I'm at over 300? Because thanks to my 2 cents for promoting my channel. So,
yeah, I remember seeing that.
Sounds niggerish.
What? Edgy.
Oh, come on.
That's right for you.
We're going to indicate to you that I wasn't edgy. Come on.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you got a profile picture of one of the most badass Sith Lords out there, right beside Darth Vader as your profile picture.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Vader, too. I'm a fan of both of them, but Revan itches out slightly above him for me, but still Vader, I still love him.
Right.
I still remember when both Knights of the Old Republic games came out. I mean, or I may have played them late, or nah.
They're released in the beginning of the 2000s.
Oh yeah, I was too young to have played them then. Duh.
All right.
Probably played them a lot later.
So I have a question regarding ANCAP philosophy.
Okay.
I would like to submit the scenario first and then ask the question. So here's a situation. Well, a girl's been somebody's daughter has been kidnapped. Now, private investigators have been hired, and all the evidence points to one guy who owns his property. Now, unfortunately, there's no signs that the girl is in his property. They can't detect her or anything. They've got the guy completely owns everything himself. He's not contracted to anybody for anything. and the private investigators ask if they could take a tour of his place in the hopes that they could find signs that the girl's there. The guy says no. Like, pretty much they're left. They can't even get through the front gates to get onto his property, and the guy won't let them in. Now, all signs point to the guy having the girl in his property. Like, he's the prime suspect, and there's a high possibility. Now, in the case of a state, you can just get a warrant and basically violate the guy's property right. Now, in the case of an Ancapistani, that's a violation of property rights and thus a violation of the self-ownership principle. By violating the self-ownership principle, that's basically a violation of the non-aggression principle. How do you you're all this, because the certainty. Now, the private investigators are all certain that the guy has the girl probably locked up in his basement. How do we proceed with that issue? There's no way you can
probably,
get out.
Well, that kind of reminds me of what Men Against the State said about disputes. They could agree to an arbiter, and whatever the arbiter says is, since they agreed to have him as the arbiter, they would do. That arbiter would have no personal stake in it, and yeah, I'll provide a link later when we're done with the stream.
Yeah, well, it depends on it depends on how much evidence there is, and yeah, bringing it to an arbiter or something like that. That's probably what would happen.
Well, see, here's the thing about the arbiter.
Hold on. If the investigator has a really good case for why the girl's probably likely locked up in there, and also has evidence on his side and all that stuff or whatever, then yeah, I'm pretty sure you could get stuff done if you had a judge or whatever say so, or an arbiter say so.
Well, see, that's when it starts kind of becoming a state, and for the arbiter to work, you have to have the guy himself has to sign on to it. Otherwise, it becomes another group of people violating his self-ownership principle and thus the NAP as well.
Well, again, if both parties agree to what the arbiter says, then they have to honor that agreement.
And if he doesn't, that's what I'm saying. The guy's defensive as all hell. Like, we're talking about, he knows what he's doing, and he's pretty sure that if he lets anybody on, he's going to get caught. I mean, well, we know the guy doesn't have the kid, but you know what I'm saying.
If he keeps stalling, however, people are going to get suspicious, and then what?
Yeah, exactly. That's going to tear down his reputation. He's going to lose a lot of money and all that stuff or whatever, that getting spread around and all that.
True.
Yeah, and he's gonna lose his, like, if he told that to his boss or something like that, and you'd have evidence to point out something like that or whatever and all that. Yeah, you would lose money and all that stuff, and he would either lose his house or something like that, and then they would figure it out one way or another. That guy's gonna freaking lose.
But at the cost of the girl's life.
I don't think the life would be costed by at that point, but whatever. And if you're going to go with that greater good stuff, again, what happens when you go for the greater good type mentality? Again, what happens is that you start with like that small an inch, like with, oh, I'm just saving a person's life or whatever and all that stuff, and using emotional arguments like that, and then you start intervening and stuff and looking at people's phone records and stuff like that. Again, you can't, once you give people an inch to do something like that, they take it a mile or something like that. That has happened always through history and all that stuff.
Exactly.
See, now what I'm talking about is not so much trying to give an inch. What I'm trying to do is prevent giving an inch while trying to find a way to solve the problem.
Well, yeah,
in other words, without violating.
Well, yeah. You don't want to ever go to that. You never want to go. You never want to go there, and never want to give a type of an inch like that, because again, like for example, when you do like with universal healthcare with endangered servitude with doctors and all that, because that's exactly what it is. Whatever. Once you start with that, once you continue on, that people go on with a mile and start doing more things and all that stuff, and start trying to justify why it's okay to violate people's rights and way of living and all that stuff and whatever and all that, and try and make excuses to do certain things or whatever. You get my point. Well, it's okay to dox this person because I had suspicions that he was I don't know, a serial killer or something like that or whatever. But again, they had no evidence for that or something or other or whatever. You get my point.
Yeah, I understand that concept, but in this case, what I'm talking about is how can we make progress towards rescuing kidnap victims without violating principal rights. I'm not asking about how can we do things for the greater good so much as...
I know, but I'm just pointing. I know. Hold on. I'm sorry, dude, but I'm just pointing out like that. I'm just pointing out and preventing that route for just for the audience and all that stuff, and for anyone out there. Again, I'm trying to point out why that's a bad idea to go the greater good route. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah,
and also don't forget, as I said, I did point it out again. She would eventually, one way or another, like again, it's like with any form of crime or whatever. One way or another, the criminal's going to slip up somewhere and all that, and they're going to be found out. It might take longer and all that stuff to do it the right way, but the right way, it's like, even though it's in Star Wars, the point still holds here. It's like you're taking the quick and easy path like Vader did. You don't want to become an agent of evil.
Yeah, and if I may, I mean, we more or less gave the answer when we talked about people growing suspicious. If you're going to keep stalling and preventing the investigation from going further, people are going to suspect that you are in fact the person that did it, and they're not even going to want to associate with you. You could wind up, if you're that suspect doing all that, you could get fired. You get fired. I mean, you could lose your friends, your family. You could. And without that income, you're going to lose that. You're not going to be able to maintain the house, and the investigators are going to come in anyway. Hey.
And also the bad guy can. Sorry, hold on. Also, I wanted to add on to the point that the bad guy can also not call in slander, because if they have evidence, then he can't say it's slander. So then, he's basically, one way or another, he's going to be fucking found out. Or his plans are, again, it might take longer, but again, you don't want to take the quick and easy path like Vader did, or else you become an agent of evil like him.
Well, for one, I'm convinced on that. I'm just more in this case worried about possibly the girl, but like you guys just pointed out, in this case, in an Ancapistani scenario, self-preservation would also have to do with the reputation. So,
yeah, exactly, and that would stop it right in the fucking first place for most sociopaths, not psychopaths, but sociopaths.
Yeah.
So, and also not only that, again, okay, say you're a father of that girl, again, you're gonna want your daughter back or something like that, or a mother or whatever, and anyone or any family member for that matter. Even if, let's say you're like an uncle to that girl or whatever, and you're the only thing she has left or something like that, you're gonna do anything to protect her. So, if you have evidence like that, since he can't call slander on and all that stuff, you can like go on the news and all that stuff and broadcast it everywhere, spread it everywhere and all that stuff, and talk about how dangerous this person is and all the suspicions and all that, and you present your evidence to the news and all that stuff or whatever and all that. You know how much that's going to annihilate that criminal's thing? It's not going to take long for him to lose all that money and all that stuff, and him to get fired and all that and stuff like that. And then you also are talking about courts hearing this and all that stuff, and other private security agencies hearing this. You get the point. It's going to fall apart one way or another.
And not only that, you're also talking about if I was the father, just looking at it from what would happen with my family here. Somebody kidnapped my family, and I knew who it was. All the evidence, I just don't have proof that they have them. Yeah, I don't. At that point, it just doesn't fucking matter in the end to me. I'd go on a fucking warpath. That's one thing about the protection of parents, is that you don't get in the way of that. So, I think what we're going to end up seeing are sometimes the occasional violations of the NAP, but it's going to be when a person stalls like
that. You'll become the quick and easy path that Vader did. What you do to avoid doing that is, what you do is how do you explain it? You go and do your own personal investigation of the area to see if they're kidnapped or not, and then or whatever, and sneak out of the house or something like that. That's what you do. You don't go on and set up a fucking warpath and kill someone to whatever and all that. even though it would be satisfying to do so, you still don't want to,
Oh no, I fully understand. What I'm saying though is that in
If I
that
may.
case, go ahead.
Go on, Zachary.
Yeah, I was going to add in conjunction with Revan, not to mention such a war would be costly and would drain your resources, which would mean that even if you do manage to kill the suspect, what would you have left in the end for the family to go back to?
Yeah, and also
Well, not necessarily talking about. Oh, sorry.
And also, I wanted to add on, as soon as he loses the house or something like that because he can't get a job anywhere or something like that as well. In one scenario, again, the bank is going to probably get it back. And since it belongs to no one, who's going to go in there? Like whatever. Everyone's going to investigate people. Yeah, people are going to investigate the house and all that stuff or whatever, one way or another, and would be allowed to. And then they'd find the kidnapped person, and there you go, basically.
I have one quick question. Like, aside from myself, is like Malin the only non-ANCAP in here?
I am an ANCAP. I'm just trying to learn more.
Okay, I see. Never mind.
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find ways to further solidify the Ancapistani theory. So
yeah,
I gotcha.
But remember, don't take the quick and easy path like Vader did.
Well, what I'm talking about, not so much about going on the warpath against the individual as just trying to get the daughter out, trying to find the daughter.
I already told you that would happen.
That doesn't. The way you worded it doesn't make any sound.
Oh yeah.
The way you word it does not. The way you word it does not make it sound any more rational, dude.
I know.
The way I said it, or
what I'm
what
trying to point out is that we're going to end up finding situations just like this, irregardless. The question is how can we find ways to solve the problem before it goes too far? One of the things I do know about, because you wouldn't be able to control any free air. We can use ground drones with ground penetrating radar, which could probably figure the area out. That's what I was hoping somebody would come up with, but it's possible to basically scan the area, because the fact is technology is reaching to the point where government is going to be irrelevant whether it tries to hang on or not. The only difference is if government uses the technology to suppress us first. So it's a matter of who gets to it first, be it the ANCAPs or the people or the government.
Well, you'd have to be one hell of a superpower in order to stop the counter economy as soon as it kicks in.
I know, right? They'd have to crack that damn system wide open, and that's not going to happen anytime soon, I don't think.
Yeah, and also, I know both the state doesn't have very many cards on its table, but we also want to prevent them from getting any new cards.
Not just new cards, we want to prevent them from going to war too.
It depends on. Well, yeah, actually, I don't want people to die and all that stuff, especially innocent young, because teenagers or children, basically, or whatever, always end up fighting in wars and all that stuff somehow. So yeah, that's one thing, and also, people end up dying and all that stuff. So yeah, we need to stop and minimize as much death as possible.
Hey, if I may say, I'm gonna tap out right now.
Okay.
Thanks for the invite, and Kappa Kitty. I know it was nice meeting you all, but yeah, I was in a live stream earlier today. I don't want to spend my entire day on nothing but YouTube. But, hey,
thanks for coming by. You're welcome again anytime.
Yeah, it was nice knowing a little bit more about old Bimler, but I know now not to trust him.
Oh, trust me, there's more than just that. I'll discuss that with you privately. I will discuss that with you privately.
I can discuss it with you privately as well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
because I don't know anything about that either. It's all been hearsay thus far, and
anyway, it's a tad too late for me to be digging myself that deep into the rabbit hole. See y'all guys later. Have a good night.
Okay.
Good night, Jackie.
Yeah, there's probably another way to stop the kidnapping anyway that I don't probably know about, that someone like SO or Filthy could probably point out that I can't think of right now. But there's one way right there where, and all that stuff. And that's if it happens in the friggin' first place. Because, for example, a sociopath's probably not going to do that because they know it's a countdown to their, to them getting held accountable one way or another if they do something like that.
Not only that, for them to for them to service themselves, they basically have to serve others, which is basically the greatest strength of anarcho-capitalism versus letting them free to do whatever in an oppressive system.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're going to be if you kidnap someone, you're going to be fucked over one way or another.
Yep.
Yeah,
and whatever and all that. It's going to come. And again, if you want to talk about like, there's certain holes within your ideas and all that stuff, that not only does the state probably have more holes, it's also the state has ways of violating people's rights and as well as improperly and as well as ending up punishing innocent people. So don't even get me started there.
Oh no! I'm simply trying to make sure that our system is solid, not necessarily.
I'm not saying it to you, Malum. I'm not saying it to you. I'm saying it to people, people getting dumb ideas in the chat or whatever. If there's dumb people and whatever and all that, because I'd rather let the guilty go anyway than punish the innocent. So
right. I agree there. Quick! I want to do a quick interjection to any viewers, especially statists. Please, by all means, first learn what we're talking about before you just throw things out, because like the roads seems to be one of the more common ones, and then taxes as well. And we've got that so thoroughly debunked. It is annoying as hell.
Yeah,
and
it's
just
very annoying. It is literally the
shoe on head's wage. Like even though I don't care if you like shoe on head or not. You don't like shoe on head's wage gap button. We need a freaking roads. We need a roads button where it's all that can be done voluntarily.
I can make that button.
That's all that needs to be said. That's all that needs to be said. All that can be done voluntarily. Done. There you go. You don't even need to say any more above that. Just done. Nope. There's no more. You don't need to go into any more detail. There's nothing more to go autistic about. It's done. There's no more. No butts. No cuts. No coconuts.
The other thing is, please, by all means, find something that's going to be difficult for us to challenge, because for us to make sure we're after freedom first and foremost, we're trying to make sure life is better for everybody, but we want to do it through a logical means, because every time emotional comes in, it goes to hell. So
yeah, obviously,
please, by all means, anybody, including other ANCAPs, try and destroy the ideology. Find a way to try and destroy us logically.
Good luck.
So
yeah,
exactly. Good luck.
Yeah, well, there's also logic. There's also empirical. You got to have empirical on your side as well. And then there's logical, empirical, and something else. Oh fuck, there's 3 keys. Fuck. Shit. Logical, empirical, and something else. I can't remember right now because you guys made me forget. But anyway, whatever. Yeah, there's logical and empirical and it's scientific. Bingo, I remember now. Yes. You got to have all 3 of those together to make the best arguments and to plan the best outcomes. And you also got to think about it and mesh it all well together. That is the key to not being an NPC. That's the key to becoming a good arguer, and that's the key to always be not always, like, be correct on most issues. Or on most things. That's what will get you there. Those 3 keys: scientific, logical, and empirical.
Wait, what's
empirical? You have to be careful with both logical and empirical.
Wait, what does empirical mean?
Empirical, like evidence.
Basically,
and all.
Your senses.
Okay.
Yeah. And also scientific, because again, you got to add that on there to give context to certain things.
Yeah, especially when it comes to economics.
Proven wrong. Try to learn from it.
Yeah. Well, and all that stuff. Yeah, those are the 3 keys to the best plans and ideas of all time.
Yep. And to all NPCs. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the best way to avoid becoming an NPC. Those 3 keys.
Yeah. And to NPCs that are already stuck in that, do not avoid the Prime Directive.
Stay on topic.
Yeah.
Malum. From Anana of Ancapistani in the live chat, he says, if there's an incentive, a business will take a leap to accommodate that incentive. Want to be a private investigator who can locate the victims of kidnap? Go for it. And yes, Anon Malum is an SS server, as well as mine.
Yeah, I got
an issue.
Anon. On Discord, go ahead and set up a DM with me because there's if we don't already have one, there's questions I wanted to ask you anyway. I'm trying to remember who the other guy was too, but lately my mind's been.
Holy fuck! I am dizzy right now.
No.
Oh, I'm an arguing
machine. Royal is good shit, ain't it?
Holy shit! I am an arguing machine sometimes.
So, yeah, and another thing that another thing that didn't get brought up with regards to the kidnapping theory. There's always the possibility, like if the guy is genuinely innocent, there's an incentive right there where all you got to do is basically bribe him. Like you set up a financial thing. We'll pay you to let us check out your place. That's the one thing I've noticed everybody seems to overlook too.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's genuinely innocent. I would just let them go on and do something like that or whatever.
Yep. And by reasoning and logic, to fight every single thing from there, it only just makes it more condemning towards guilt. Yeah. So reputation, again, it's everything.
And science and evidence, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Holy shit.
Well, in this case, we're talking about reputation. Reputation is unfortunately still subjective.
Well, yeah, somewhat, but again, the majority of the people out there don't like friggin' kidnappers, so
exactly.
If you kidnap someone, you're fucking screwed. Well, okay, yeah, you could redeem yourself if you really realize you fucked up or something like that, but still, it's an uphill road from there and all that. To turn your reputation around after doing something like that.
Yeah, you'd be lucky to even leave your property, considering all roads would be privatized. You'd be denied access.
Yeah, basically.
Possibly, but again, well, it depends if you pay for it yourself or something like that, or what's going on. It depends. It depends on a multitude of factors. You might not even have a friggin' house. You might be just friggin' straight up exiled at that point.
Well, if they own the property, they can't just straight up exile them, but they can basically if the guy's landlocked, they can pretty much just remove his ability. And given the fact that today's communication, if the guy is found out, the information is going to spread around just through the grapevine alone so freaking fast, he can't even go to another nation. If Ancapistani was around the world, of course. If like the whole world was Ancapistani, this one guy, everybody would know his identity, his name. They'd know his age, his birthday, everything. There's always going to be that one person that decides to take it a step too far.
Yeah,
and we saw it with the drama.
Especially with the antisocial types that don't think things through.
Yep.
Not only that, go ahead.
They'd be gunned down though. Those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, totally. It depends on, most of them or whatever and all that, and even then they'd be pretty much exiled or something like that, or whatever freak. They're screwed one way or another. That's the point. And if you point it reminds me of the microcosm fallacy that Shane Killian pointed out, where they statists try to barely with straws point out all the flaws within our ideas and all that stuff when they have a shit ton more flaws within theirs. Again, people all the time falsely convicted of crimes and all that stuff, and constantly have their rights violated and all that stuff or whatever, or constantly taken out of context when they go for their search history or phone records or something like that or whatever, made to look worse than they actually are and all that stuff. Yeah, you get the point. That's whatever and all that. It's again that's what the state always does. They always go for women or children or terrorism as an excuse to expand government influence or whatever, or sick people or something around there. And then what happens? Hold on. What happens is that people start, the government and all that stuff, or people in general, start taking the quick and easy path. And then we end up like today, where people are falsely convicted of stuff all the fucking time, way more often than not. and all that, and then you start up with like start with stuff like the Inquisition and all that stuff when you choose the quick and easy path. You become an agent of evil.
Right, and I'd also, this reminds me of a guy on DeviantArt who calls himself Legio X. He kept using this Johnson County case where private investigators were bribed, and a sheriff deputized everyone to go after the actual cattle thieves. And all right, if you're going to give an example of the state somehow magically being better, at the very least, keep in mind the fact that if anybody else were to try to do what the state does, they would be thrown in jail along with the actual criminals.
Oh my
Please.
gosh, if someone tried to do what the state does, they'd be exiled like 80 times over or shot 80 times over. Oh my God. God. They'd be long friggin' dead in a gutter somewhere, frig.
Yep.
Also, you have to keep in mind how governments often misallocate resources. It happens all the time. I mean, Mr. Deverden talked about that one fighter jet.
Yeah, that's old news. But yeah, it's I guess it is good to point it out again, but whatever. We're not. I don't know. We're kind of getting off topic here a bit, but go on.
Right. Right. I mean, if you're going to say that the state does something better, you're going to need to give us an example of how the state does not simply waste the resources and use a whole lot more of them to do the same thing that the private sector does in the same area. That way we can compare and contrast.
Well, even if the state does do something good, for example, all right, Norway with its well, I hate, like, in specific circumstances, I hate to call it a prison system, but well, whatever they call it, that's what their prison system is. It's basically a rehabilitation center for, well, not just for basically every type of crime out there, even the bad ones. But I don't agree with that. But let me finish. But yeah, when they actually do something right, again, we can, Ancapistani could do like the exact same friggin' thing, just it's all voluntary. No theft required.
Exactly.
Because yes, the state has done pretty good things. It has done good things. We never argued otherwise. But the thing is that we can do it. The private market will do it better, or eventually will do it better through innovation and all that.
Can I make an interjection?
Sure.
I have one thing that the government does do better than any other voluntary system.
Violence, I know, but actually, even then, we could still do the private market if motivated enough or whatever and all that. If we're like taking down like a bunch of awful people or whatever, we could still do violence pretty friggin' well. In fact, like with Celtic Ireland or whatever and all that, back in the whatever the time right there, they had a fight against the British Army, wildly outgunned and outnumbered, like way above like Canada, for example. And the British Army had like infinite reinforcements. Yeah, Celtic Ireland humiliated the British Empire back then because of how long it took them to invade Celtic Ireland. They humiliated them. Like 500 years being outnumbered, outgunned, and just basically guerrilla warfare tactics on their side.
And
humiliated the. Well, I'm not sure if it was guerrilla warfare back then, but the point is that they outright humiliated the British Empire. 500 years it took for a massive, huge, giant militaristic empire to invade Celtic Ireland. 500 years. That's like, imagine being like more outnumbered than the founding fathers were back in America, and also the British having a shit ton of a direct line of reinforcements. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, not only that,
humiliated them.
Yeah, not only that, even when the Norse invaded, they only really had Dublin, I think, and even then, much of Ireland.
Yep. Yeah, well, no, but again, like they fucking humiliated the British Empire outright. fucking humiliated them.
And to interject, imagine what that would be today in Ancapistan. I've had alt-righters and all sorts of other people say that we're fucking pussies. And that we're spineless, that we're weak, that only the strong survive, you know, the whole survival of the fittest thing.
Oh, the
I will
irony.
tell you now, just what Brevin pointed out. The Irish
pussy.
No.
It's only
we're
Sorry.
not. No, we're not. If
no,
anything,
no, they are the ones who are pussies. I'm saying the alt-right.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're the ones that cannot fucking compete and all that stuff, and require the government to pad their pussy ass and all that stuff. They're the ones that have a hard time competing in the free market against the dreaded horrible black people and all that shit. Fricked.
Yeah. And anyway, as I was saying, imagine if Ancapistan were real today. Just anybody trying to restart the state in an NCAP territory, they'd be up against the entire. Like, that's when you'd see genuine collectivism where, it's a good thing. Because everybody would be united against whoever tries to restart the state.
That's
now,
not
with modern technology, we're talking about greater profit motive, increasing our capabilities. Everybody would have access to whatever weapon they wanted: tanks, machine guns, bombs. Most likely we wouldn't want to need it, but the fact of the matter is, we would have easier access to it. And there's people like me that just relish in that stuff without even wanting to hurt anybody else. And so we'd be like some of the first people that would be coming after you and your militaries. Asymmetrical tank warfare. I mean, enough said right there. How are you going to take on ANCAPs when we're going to be outgunned, or when we're going to outgun you in terms of technologically speaking? We're going to have the home advantage. We're going to have just about everything to our advantage. It's just not going to happen. As Mr. Apperton has pointed out, we have 330 million people in the United States. If the United States were to go Ancapistan, were to become Ancapistans, and basically the military was the only thing that was left over, we're talking about on average a 2 million military. If you want 5 million, if you want to throw in the law enforcement, and I'm assuming, I don't know the actual figures on law enforcement, but I'm just being generous there. So 5 million, 330 million, actually 325 million, because technically they're still counted as part of the population. But what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, it's going to be a bloodbath again. Whatever. I can already hear the statists say like madrones and all that. or like I remember this one alt-right retard that I debated with back in Discord back in the day. I think I did kind of lose the debate because I forgot some points and all that stuff, because I was not fully thinking in the situation. I was speaking before I was thinking. But anyway,
I do that a lot.
Hold on. But what he said was like one of the dumber points he said is obviously, well, one was madrones, and two was, China will just go to straight up extermination. Like, what fucking point is that?
You also have to consider the logistics. I mean,
what the fuck? What kind of
access
fucking point
to
is that?
everything.
It's like, what kind of fucking point is that? That doesn't mean anything. Like, China will go up to straight up extermination. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that even supposed to fucking mean? It's like,
he's right in a sense. I'm going to give him that, but you're still taking into consideration, what are we going to do?
It's like, yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's moot. That's a non sequitur, I think, if that, or whatever, because again, it's like, it's a fucking non-argument, like whatever. It's because it's like, again, like, exactly what you said. Like, what can we do to friggin' them and all that when we outgun them and all that shit, or whatever and all that and whatever and all that stuff and and all that. You get the point. And then I remember this other and he said that, well, people will just leave and all that stuff or whatever, or not fight them and all that stuff. I'm like, okay, so you're saying that every single person in this society in a mass enough quantity is just gonna fucking drop to the ground and take it up the ass? No, a lot of people still want their property. People still want their freedom. People still want to fight, like, whatever and all that stuff, and people are still willing to fight and all that. And we don't need to have conscription, and also we don't need to like threaten to kill people if they don't fight or whatever.
Let me interject.
Yep.
Yeah, as I was saying, without realizing I was interrupting, you also have to consider the logistics. I mean,
true.
Right. I mean, this was one of the reasons why invaders failed to conquer Russia from Charles XII to. They could not act. They did not have very many supplies because the supply line was being strained, and by the time they would have gotten to Moscow, it would have taken weeks probably for people providing the supplies to get there. By then, the defending forces in Russia would have been able to take back Moscow. So, and the same concept applies with Ancapistani. I mean, and crank that to 11 even.
Okay, whatever.
With Ancapistani, we could just go across the street for the supplies. With an invading force, they have to go all the way back to their own land, possibly overseas, to get the supplies.
I got two things after you're done.
That was it. Go ahead.
Okay. So, finishing off with your argument, I would like to point out, if you don't believe him, this has already been referenced numerous times throughout history. All you got to do is look up The Art of War by Sun Tzu, or Sung Zi, or whatever name you want. People want to give him. And I forgot the second part. Damn it.
Well, all right. Well, while you're thinking about it, I'll mention something. And again, to that alt-right retard again, I lost the debate because I wasn't thinking and all that stuff or whatever. But it's like there was also a psychological thing that Esso mentioned called reactance. Whatever someone tries to impose will on you or whatever and all that. This happens in prisons and all that stuff in the U.S. all over the place. When you impose your will onto them and all that stuff, they will fucking fight back one way or another or get violent.
Yep, I remember that. I remember now.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish. Yeah.
One way or another. So yeah, this would apply here as well. Again, people will get violent and all that stuff and whatever. It's like, oh, China will just go in full extermination. Well, with reactants and all that stuff, whatever. We're gonna try and fucking exterminate them back. It's gonna be tit for tat, or we're gonna meet each other on par in that case, or whatever, and all that stuff, or whatever, and all that. In that sense, again, people are going to defend themselves, and if you escalate the situation, if the China decides to escalate the situation, when reactants comes to it, then they'll have to suffer the consequences of meeting that defeat as well. It's like what I'm not finished yet. It's like what my dad said or whatever. Don't escalate a fight if you're not willing to be the loser in that category, if you get what I mean. And so if China decides to do that, if they want to be whatever and all that stuff, if they are going to be the loser and all that stuff, whatever, I'm kind of drifting off here, but they're gonna friggin' get their ass cooked half to death and all that stuff, especially when it comes to reactants and all that. Because as I pointed out before, obviously it's just people are gonna fight back when they're within prisons and all that stuff. Yeah, they're gonna keep as much control. And I'm just repeating myself now and whatever. You get my point. I think I've hammered the point enough.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why the Cold War saw no nukes fired. There was the threat of them, but then everyone knew how deadly the hydrogen bombs and missiles could be. So
exactly.
Well, not even there's black market nukes today that don't get launched and all that shit or whatever, and no one's freaking insane enough to do it because they don't want to kill all their customers.
Yep.
Yeah, and after that, what would you really have left?
Another thing I'd like to interject, which is based on what you said, Zachary. But sorry, go ahead and finish, and then I'll say.
Yeah, I was going to say, and when all is said and done, if China does escalate it that far with nukes, what would they really have left at that point? If not only would they be destroying the people, they would be destroying the resources as well. They would have practically nothing left.
Yeah, no,
Yep.
not only that, we
And-
could also fire back with nukes ourselves as well, and we'll have more of them in spades, and they'll be more powerful on our side, likely.
Okay, and like I was gonna say with regards to what you said earlier about nuclear weapons holding us back, and this also from what I was trying to say earlier. So nuclear weapons were a deterrent, and throughout history, just even having a firearm has been a deterrent. And in a significant case with World War II, Pearl Harbor, the guy who engineered Pearl Harbor, I don't remember his name exactly, but basically, he's been quoted saying to invade America is folly because behind every blade of grass is a marksman. He's in that case because he went to college here in the United States, and if one of you viewers knows his name, please type it out. And unfortunately, I don't know how to read that out. But anyway, so basically, he was afraid that if the Japanese tried to invade U.S. mainland, we would basically annihilate their forces because everybody pretty much shot firearms at that time and period. And at the same time, gun control wasn't in existence, and the crime was way down.
Yeah,
but an entire military invasion that instigated or that bombed Pearl Harbor literally was afraid to invade U.S. mainland. Instead, they decided to target the ships and destroy our military capability to the point where it would take us forever to do anything, and just humiliate us and demoralize us because they were afraid of getting on mainstream or on mainland USA or any USA. They just made one quick little attack and ran away. I'm done.
Right.
All right.
And well, there likely was gun control back then, but it was not as big as it was now.
Well, the Machine Gun Act, the first one.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I think the stream has gone on long enough. We've already highlighted our points, and it's getting tiring right now.
Yeah, it's almost
not
midnight
only
here.
that, I gotta go. Yep.
See you later.
Yep.
Yeah.
See ya.
Night.
I think it's just a good time to end the stream.
Yeah, it's gone on long enough, and we've already highlighted all of our points. And yeah, it's it's again. Yep, that's the thing. Whatever. It's funny, yeah. It's how that's a funny thing. Also, to you statists out there that say that we want an idealistic society or a utopian society, we never claimed that. We essentially claim another version of what another version of what the founding fathers said. We never claimed that it was going to be a utopia. We never claimed it was going to be perfect. What we're claiming is that it's going to be better, and it's going to be less violating of people, and that we also claim that taking the quick and easy path is the wrong way to go, and all that. Again, it's again, to statists out there, again, you will, if you continue down your path, I'm sorry I'm going to be honest, it's going to hurt, I guess, or whatever, in a sense that you will become an agent of evil. I hate to, I'm just going to be honest right there.
All right. Well, thank you for everyone who joined. Zachary, Cawley, Revan, Malum, Crow, even though he was snoring and he had to be kicked out, but that's rare. Thank you to Dark Conservatarian. Thank you, YouTubing Jaguar, who was a guest appearance mod. Thank you to Droid, who showed. Thank you to Almond Rose and Anon of Ancapistani for tuning in. Oh, thank you for who else joined in the call. Thank you to Koi Monster as well. Did I forget anybody?
I don't think so. I'm too tired to remember right now. Don't ask me. I'm sorry. Don't wait around on my account.
Well, stay tuned for Wednesday night stream. I'm sure we'll be better organized then, and I'm trying not to cut each other off. We're gonna try that.
Well, that's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
All right, see ya, everyone, every nigger out there.
Yep. Good night.